Hey everybody, it's Chad, nobody else's auto. 7 o'clock Sunday night. Time for some Sunday night live chat. Big group on with us already right out of the gate on YouTube. Kevin's here, Tim's here, Bill Wagaman, Big Job, David W, Kevin L. Pete's on with us. Let's see if we're connecting over here on Facebook, since Facebook has been realigned their screens again a couple weeks ago. So by the time I was getting used to the way they changed it 6 months ago, they've changed it again. So trying to keep an eye over there to figure out what's going on there. Lots of comments coming in on YouTube already. Let's check that out. Jason's here with us. Yeah, lots of comments about the auction. We'll talk about that here in a little bit once we get Boogie in. And we'll kind of go over some of the details about how things went yesterday. Obviously, I was a little busy. There was a lot going on. We sold a lot of cars. But that's the point. So anyway, looks like we are connecting on Facebook now as well. And it actually connected a few seconds behind YouTube. So Robert's on with us. So anyway, if we'll see how things go on Facebook, but Facebook is timing a few seconds behind YouTube. So we'll see how that happens when we get into auctions tonight for your Facebook users. So anyway, Bill Wagaman's on with us. Alec from New Hampshire is on. He was sick last week. Well, glad you're back this week. We got a lot more fun scheduled once again. Mike's on with us. Our good buddy Mike. Says it's working on his end. I just don't know how well it's going to work all the way around. Brian's on with us as well. Okay, what's going on? Dennis is here. Charles is here. A lot of familiar faces jumping on YouTube once again. But anyway, obviously, I'll forewarn you right now, I'm probably not as well prepared for tonight as I should be, so please bear with me. Obviously, my last week's been kind of bonkers, and I did what I could to get tonight's episode put together, but like I said, please bear with me. It is probably not going to be the quality. If you can consider what we do here quality anyway, tonight probably won't be quite as good a quality as what I try to have put together for all you guys. Let's see. Rusty's here. Maddie's on with us. Dad's on Facebook. Everybody's ready to go. Ready for some Hudson Badge right out of the gate. Check that out. Jim's here. Brian Dispatch is back. He's got power after the hurricane. Glad he made it back tonight. Bill Disc's on with us. Everybody's ready to go, ready for a drink, ready to have a good time. Like I said, please bear with me tonight. I've got something put together, but it's not, like I said, not quite the quality that I like to try to have ready for you guys. But this week's just been a little bonkers. So I got something put together. We'll work with it. We'll go see what happens. Lee's here with us. That's right. Keep it simple. Yeah, that's right. But I still like to try to do a good job for you guys. Obviously, the way this last week and especially this weekend's been, it's not quite as good as what I typically like to have put together for you. Anthony's here with us. Tweedly D's here. Mike says, Matty just says, every time you hear Hudson, he's ready to go. Tweedly D's on. Tweedly D, I had an address issue with you too as well. I cut your return address off your envelope and the post office said it wouldn't go through. So I need to get with you on that as well. Even though everything was bonkers, I did get everything paid or shipped with the exception of Tweedly D's because there was an address issue when I got it to the box of the post office. So I don't know if when I cut it off your envelope, they said there wasn't something there. It was Friday morning. I didn't have time to mess with it. So I said, we'd get with you. I get with you and get it squared up. So, Tim, did I see your PayPal payment for the auto lot auction? We'll go through them in a little bit, Tim. I really don't remember. I've checked it about 4 this afternoon. But we'll go through what I did earlier in the week. I think it's there, but we'll go through it here in a little while. So I'm going to go Jimmy Fallon instead of Johnny Carson. I don't know. I don't watch Jimmy Fallon, so I don't know. And Bill says it's not Johnny Carson, it's David Letterman. So, Rusty listened to part of the auction. Randy's here with us. And if you didn't listen to part of the auction, my partner, Chris Frosher, heck of an auctioneer. I mean, the guy has a great chant, does a great job, very professional. So if you did get a chance to listen, I hope you did because it's almost entertaining listening to him and his dad. So Alec just says everything's going to be good talking about cars. That's for sure. Yeah, that's right, Tim. We'll go through it here in a little bit. Eloy's here with us. How about some Auburn Badge? But anyway, let's do a little housekeeping as always, since we usually have some new people on here real quick. Autocorrect, please check your autocorrect before you hit send. If I cannot make out your comment because autocorrect changed a bunch of your words, I will skip it and go to the next one. I do miss some comments occasionally, but I definitely try to catch as many of them as I can, especially being on two formats since we are on both Facebook and YouTube. However, if you are on Facebook, on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, I cannot see those comments. This is a shared video to that page from the Nobody Else's Auto page. So if you're on the Nobody Show page on Facebook, you will need to be on the Nobody Show channel on YouTube or the Nobody Else's Auto Facebook page to comment or participate in the auctions. Jeff from Canada's here. Scott's on with us on Facebook. Trolls, we do occasionally get a troll on YouTube, especially. I ignore them. They want my attention. You guys make sure they know they're not welcome. And so I let you guys take care of them and report them. I appreciate your support on that. Number one's here with us. So we'll keep an eye out on that stuff and get ready to get rolling. So let's see. Yeah, Jason, I think everyone was asking how Jennifer's doing this week. So David, Big Job went to an auction and sold a Big Job Ford. Rusty was trying to bid on the 24 Model T. Was too slow to bid and missed it. Yeah, that's one thing. I barely got through the magazine, number one. So there is no trivia tonight. That did not get done. So I'm lucky that I got done what I did get done for sure, the way things have been. But that happens this time of the year. I know I lose about 10 or 12 days because of the auction, but that's part of it to do it right. So Bill Dis got rained out of going to Carlisle. That sucks. Number one claim. He's going to claim the trivia win anyway by remembering there was no trivia. So good job, number one. We'll throw up a Hudson badge for that. But anyway, F&E. Yesterday, we ended up with right at 80 vehicles, and we ended up selling about 80% of them, or somewhere right in that 75 to 80% range. Haven't actually sat down and tallied it all up after we got some deals put together after the auction. But like I said, it was a good day. Had a lot of fun. Saw some of you there. Rico and Jess were here. They've come out the last couple of years. Saw Nate. Didn't really get a chance to talk to him, but Nate was here. Charles was here. Did talk to him a little bit. So there again, if you were here and I missed you, I apologize. I saw a lot of people that I just absolutely did not have a chance to take 5 minutes and chat with. I had a lot of friends here from out of town, and I apologize to you guys that I did miss because it was just one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. So, number one says after the Seahawks and Packers, he needs that win. Jason says Jennifer is slowly getting a little better, so that's great. I'll pull it for both Jennifer and with Brian Dispatch, both fighting some health issues, but still hanging out here with us and making some things happen. So, yeah, Nate, I was swamped. That's pretty busy. It's kind of an understatement the way yesterday went. So, yeah, it's a pain, Bill, but there again, hopefully when we get all the bills paid, hopefully there's a little money left, for being crisp, but we'll see how things go. But we did have a lot of cool cars. We did sell a lot of stuff. If there's anything anybody has specific questions about, go ahead and throw them out there. That's kind of all I've got scheduled for Open Chat is kind of touch base, follow up with what happened at F&E. My good friend Jim Wicks was out here. I know some of you guys have seen the video with Jim. The purple Charger, actually Jim bought it. Yes, the IROC did sell. Went just a couple hours away from here, stayed in Kansas. Those folks picked it up this morning, got a chance to visit with them for a minute. But if you guys haven't seen the videos with my friend Jim Wicks, the Shelby Guru, he did make it out. And, it was great to see Jim, especially with his knowledge and expertise in the auction world, to get his opinion of what we're doing, plus some just, some little interesting tidbits of what we can do a little bit different to just tweak some things. So, but overall, he was even pretty impressed with what we've done. So that was good to hear that overall he thought we put together a pretty good event. because he's seen them all, from the smallest 10 or 15 car deal up to the 3,000 car deals in Barrett, Scottsdale, and Kissimmee. He's seen it all and everything in between, and he's bought a lot of them. Does that mean we get a deeper walk around? There's a 13-minute video on that car on the F&E channel, number one. In, around, under, on. Yeah, so if you missed the video on the F&E Collector Auto Auction channel, there is a full deep walk around on the Purple Charger on the F&E channel right now, so you can check it out there. No, the red 4x4 short wide, that 87 Chevy, I assume that's what we're talking about. The 87 Chevy did not sell. The Dune Buggy did sell. Actually, Jim bought it too. He said one of his buddies down in Oklahoma is big into those little Volkswagen Dune Buggy things, so he picked that up as well. It is, yeah, Rusty, we always shoot for the first weekend in October. Not really for any reason other than the fact that the first year we did it, that was about the only weekend that was open. The first year we did this in 16, we didn't start on it until May of that year, and the calendar was already pretty full at the complex, at the fair complex where we hold it. And, we obviously didn't want to do it in the middle of July when it's 110 out, and we did, you can't do it in the middle of winter. So that first weekend in October happened to be open that year. So we snagged that, and we've just kind of stuck with it. We've been able to we've managed to keep that weekend, and it's worked out pretty well. So, yeah, that was Dad's Berry Mini T, and Jim bought it, like I said, for a friend, for one of his friends. So, yeah, you put the whole auction together to sell Jim stuff. I don't know. I'm glad he showed up. He bought, between him and his contacts, he bought a lot of cars. Yeah, Jim bought the Pinto too. I was like, Jim, what do you do with the Pinto? He's like, I want a little parts chaser to use around the shop. So he says, I think it's cool. So, Alec on Facebook, the 59 Impala sell. It did not sell on the block. We sold it about 20 minutes later. So, yeah, we did get it sold. It did not sell on the block. It got real close. And so it wasn't much longer before we had it, before we got it sold. So, but, yep, it is sold. But overall, we had a great sale. The Model Ts did a lot better than I thought. The Bill and Peggy Wolf collection we've talked about before. The touring car and the super cool original paint 26 truck. They both did extremely well. The guy that bought the truck bought a lot of the parts as well. So I got a chance to visit with him for a little while today when he picked up the truck. But I had a good crowd, probably a little light on the crowd compared to what we've had in the past. Number one, please explain the process. Selling without a winning bid. Is the price close? Does the consignor drop the price? If a car does not hit the reserve on the block and we roll it off, we always give people an opportunity to make an offer. And that's what happened. We talked to the seller, found out what he had to have in his pocket. We had a couple of potential buyers on that particular car, and we're able to work out a deal that made both the seller and the buyer happy. That happens at most big auctions. Meekum does it a lot. And it works. We sold 4 or 5 cars. Another perfect example, the red Firebird convertible did not sell on the block, but the guy was very interested in it. But he was also interested in the 67 Camaro convertible. Did not get the Camaro convertible, catches me right after the auction and says, what can we do on the Firebird? I talked to the owner. I got an offer from the potential buyer. We talked to the owner. We went back and forth a few times, and we finally got that done about 7:00 last night. So, yeah, our goal is to sell cars. If they don't sell on the block, we are still there to try to sell cars. So that's what we're doing. Gail on with us on Facebook. Tim that thinks the auction sounded hectic enough to keep me out of mischief. Yeah, I ran pretty hard, that's for sure. But that's what happens. If it does, what happened there, Auburn? Sebastian's here with us. But yeah, that's what happens if it doesn't sell on the block. We're more than happy. And some guys are waiting. Like I said, some just like the guy on the Firebird convertible was waiting on the Camaro convertible. Camaro convertible brought more than what he wanted to pay for it. Went back to the Firebird. We made the deal happen. And that's the whole goal. We're there to sell cars. And, sometimes it just takes a little bit of extra effort of working back and forth to try to make the numbers work for everybody and keep everybody happy. But like I said, our ultimate goal is to sell the cars. That's our entire goal, is to sell cars. And like I said, there again, it just kind of stacks up even after the sale. But that, like I said, we got 4 or 5 of them after the sale. Does commission change to sell off the block? It's the same. We just work right off the same set of numbers as far as commission. Sebastian just realized he forgot to enter. So, Randy, best deals before or after the actual auction? It depends. There's some guys that, sometimes the seller may realize that maybe their reserve was a little high. They may come off of it. But you never really know. Sometimes they realize that during the auction and drop it. And then if you say, I'm going to wait till afterwards, and they drop it at the last second and you don't catch it and don't get in, it's gone. When we sold the 59 Impala, like I said, we had a couple of guys on it right after the auction, and talked to some people, made a few phone calls, got a deal done on it. And I went and found the owner and told him, hey, we got a deal done on the car. And he goes, good, thanks. And he was standing there talking to a guy, and I just kept on walking. He looked busy. I just told him we got the deal done, kept on moving. And he come and caught me a couple minutes later, and he said, hey, that guy I was talking to just cornered me because he wanted to talk to me about my car. But there again, he wasn't going through us. We didn't know that. We already had deals working on it, and he missed it because, there again, he didn't get with us and try to get something happening. So you never know, Randy. It depends on and that's different with every single consignor. They may change their mind at the last second while it's on the block. They may change their mind a little bit later. They may decide it's worth more afterwards and decide that they want more money for it. That happens too. There isn't really any rhyme or reason as to whether it's better or worse to just wait to see if something happens. So anyway, did the black Chevy 4x4 sell the 71 or 72? No, Kevin, that was one of the few vehicles that did not sell. Tony's here with us. But like I said, overall, we had a great day and we sold a lot of cars. James is on with us. So anyway, another successful year. We'll see how everything's done. Yes, the 300 did sell. The 79 300 did sell. And like I said, we moved some iron. That was the whole point. And once again, everybody seemed to have a really good time, had a lot of good feedback, and everybody had fun. A lot of people took home a lot of cool cars, and the sellers were happy. The buyers were happy. Everybody drank some beer, ate some barbecue, had a good time. And that's the important thing. And that's like I always tell you about these collector auto auctions. They're fun. They're a good time. Hang out, have a blast, bring your buddies, drink some beer, eat some food. Was that black Chevy 4x4 at Meekum, Tulsa? I don't know if that one was there or not. I don't remember. So, yeah, the Pinto wagon did sell, Sebastian. We talked about that just right before you jumped on. So, anyway, great weekend. Glad some of you made it. I apologize for not having more time to talk to you, but it was fun. No, the V12 Lincoln did not sell, Tweedledee. Auburn badge. So, yeah, any of these ones that you guys are asking about, if they didn't sell, call me. Give me a call tomorrow and give me an offer, and I'll call the owner. We'll see if we can get something done. Proxy Bid did tell my partner to expect some phone calls on Monday because they did have a lot of emails about the few cars that didn't sell. And, more than likely, some of those probably are sold at this point because, like I said, we did sell 4 or 5 right after the auction. Mike from New Waverly, Texas is on. But like I said, we'll probably there's a good chance we can still sell a few more cars yet this week. So we'll see how things go and maybe try to get a few more of them knocked out. So it's a badge. But anyway, guess we'll do her again next year. So yeah, you guys might mark that first weekend in October down, and we'll see. Maybe some of you can make her out next year and see what happens. We'll see what we can get lined up for next year. So. Tim, someday I'd love to hit up your auction even just to eat some barbecue and see it. Yeah, and that's what's cool about them. They're fun. You get to see all these cars. Tweedledee says he was listening on Proxy Bid. You get to hang out around all these cool cars, check them out. And the thing about an auction is it's always a wide variety. You never know what we're going to get consigned. We never know what year is going to get consigned. I had no idea we were going to end up with a one-owner Plum Crazy Purple Charger, but we did. And the car was here in town. And I didn't even know it existed. So that's what's cool about it. You never know from year to year what may or may not show up, and it's always fun. So, Anyway, but like I said, if there's anything that didn't sell and you're interested in, give me a shout tomorrow. We'll try to put a deal together for you and get it shipped out to you. Promo time. Then we are going to do some badges and emblems. Then we're going to check out some. We're going to do some auctions, and still get part of a magazine done tonight. And then we're going to give away the Autolite sign. Plus, we're going to announce the new raffle for this month as well, and it's pretty cool as well. So, look how much fun our nobody's auctions are. Yeah. But on to tonight's promo, or an Auburn badge. I'll slide that in there. Yes, Frost, we just talked about that. The Plum Crazy Charger did sell. And actually, it hit reserve like a day or two before the auction, believe it or not. So, but anyway, on to the promo. Check out some badges and emblems. Do some auctions. We got a lot of cool stuff yet to go tonight. Like I said, I put together as best I could of an episode tonight with the limited amount of time that I had to do it with. So, tonight's promo model. Tim says the nobody auctions are A+. Alex says it looked like some good barbecue. Yeah, it was pretty tasty. Yeah, Sebastian, how much fun the Sunday night auctions be in person. That's true. Tonight's promo. Let's check it out. Here it is. Looks like a box. Looks like a box with an E on it. Yes, because this is a new old stock indie box promo for the 1958 Edsel. And the medium price field, the one that's really new, is the lowest priced to the 1958 Edsel. The flap is gone, but other than that, I've still got the whole box. So I'll work with that. But anyway, let's check out the car. The 1958 Edsel. We may have done this on Toy Tuesday quite a while back, but here she is. Beautiful turquoise and white 58 Edsel. Kind of iconic colors for these cars. David W. went to a farm auction in Indiana with a bunch of Studebakers. So that'll be a cool video. Jeff's digging it. So cool. They wrote that on the box. Yeah. Intact. Even still has the hood ornament on this thing, believe it or not. Right up here. Still has the original hood ornament intact. Allie, just curious, how do we know what sold and didn't sell? You can go to Proxy Bid. Go to FEClassicCarAuction.com or FEClassicCarAuction.com. Go to the 2022 docket. Click on the Proxy Bid link, the bid online link, and it shows. It'll show a sale price, and it'll say either a bidder. It'll either have a paddle ID if it's sold on Proxy Bid, or it'll say on site if it's sold on the floor. If it says passed, it is still available, other than the stuff we sold right after the auction. So if you go to FEClassicCarAuction.com, go to 2022 docket, hit the bid online button, and that will take you to the Proxy Bid. And if it says passed, unless we sold it right after the auction, it's still available. So, yeah, this is a cool piece. Two-tone, turquoise and white. Like I said, still in the box, so still in good condition. The bumpers aren't broke up. I think there's a little bit of slight warpage to it. If you look real close, the roof looks kind of flattened in the middle, things like that. It is a full interior car, if you can see in it. Still has all the hubcaps, the wide whites. This was a friction car, metal bottom friction car. Looks like the wheels need balance, but it is a friction. Frank's here with us. You see the bottom? This is a metal painted black bottom, so still, no detail, but obviously nice, bright, shiny paint since it is original. John's here with us on Facebook. You bet, Alec. I'm glad you brought it up. I should have mentioned that, and I did not. So, the iconic horse collar type grill on the 58 Edsel. Alan from Arizona is here, which turned out to be not quite as popular as they were hoping for. But now, in today's world, they're pretty neat. So, how many promos do I have? No idea. No idea. There's probably 40 or 50 in that case right over there. And I've got boxes of them everywhere. So, I don't know. 100, 150, who knows? So, but since we like checking one out every week, I figured we'd bust out the Edsel with box on the 1958 Edsel. Pretty cool piece, pretty unique piece. Very, very few promos that I have other than some like stuff, the newer stuff, like some of the late 80s, early 90s stuff. do I actually have boxes for. So having this one in the box, I'm pretty excited about it. Obviously, I kind of thought Edsels were kind of different, kind of neat. But now that I know, I've gotten to know Phil, our good buddy Phil, who's been on with us on here a few times. And I've learned so much more about Edsels through him and his in-depth knowledge and his Edsel database that it's even cooler now. So now that I know a little bit more. Pete says, you need me to come. I need him to come help me figure out how many I've got. Be a lot of digging there. Eric from Ohio's on. That's right, Big Job. No wonder it's alive yet. No kids got a hold of it. Kevin loved turquoise and white on old cars. The Dad 63 comic convertible is that color. Yep, that's for sure. This is a great color combination on cars from the 50s. And like I said, this is a beautiful piece. Jim's still got an Edsel grill. I've got a 58 and a 59 Edsel grill in my grill stash just because they are so unique. So there we go. There it is. Tonight's promo, the 1958 Edsel with original box in turquoise and white. Billy Bowman's here with us. Auburn badge. Sebastian is strange because Edsels are still his favorite Ford out of all of them. Yeah, so it's a cool piece. Like I said, finding something that early in the box, pretty tough, and I was definitely excited to be able to get it and add it to the collection. Jason's got an Edsel grill as well. On to some badges for tonight. Tonight's first badge, we're going to back up a few years. Obviously, we usually do a pre-war and a post-war. So starting off with our pre-war badge, I'm going to talk about the Dodge brothers a little bit. Ozark Fox has a 59 Edsel clip, whole front clip. So the Dodge brothers, John and Horace, had a machine shop in Detroit and made a fortune building engines, transmissions, and axles for Rio, Ransom, Eli Olds, and for Ford. They then decided to switch to their own automobile called the Dodge Brothers. The first Dodge Brothers car left the factory in November 1914. It was a sturdy 35 horsepower L-head four-cylinder and was America's first mass-produced automobile with an all-steel body. The car was immediately successful, 45,000 units sold in 1915, the best first-year production for a new car in America up to that time. In 1916, Dodge stood in fourth place in the industry and were in second place by 1920. The Dodge brothers both died in 1920, and the company's fortunes began to fail and went through a series of owners. The Dodge Senior line was introduced in 1927 and the Standard 6 in 1928, which was when Walter P. Chrysler bought the company and became part of Chrysler Corporation when the Standard 6 was introduced in 1928. And that brings us up to tonight's badge. The Dodge Brothers Standard 6. This one is chipped a little bit. This is the 28-29 Standard 6, which was the first year, as we just learned, of the Standard 6. This badge is bent a little bit, which is why we've got the chipping up in this area right here. See that corner's kind of tweaked a little bit. This is a basic badge with just blue enameling inlay for the DB and the Standard 6, as well as the blue frame. This is a smaller badge. No, Jason, we're not selling it. That's right, Tweeted E. The Dodge brothers did pass away fairly early in life. 1 7/8 inches by about 1 1/4 inches. So this is a smaller badge, just a tick under 2 inches tall. So, but there again, 28-29, the beginning of the Standard 6, as Chrysler took over Dodge and started making things happen and making changes in the Dodge company, which, and obviously, as we know today, still alive and kicking with some super cool stuff with the Hellcats and the Demons and things like that. Obviously, looks like there's some change on the horizon with electric vehicles, but we'll see if that all comes together as quickly as they all say it's going to. But this was a pressed-on badge on the back. As we look at a lot of these, they have these little tabs where they were pressed on to the back of the grill shell. So a pretty neat, pretty unique piece for the Dodge Brothers Standard 6. The first couple years of the Standard 6, actually, after Chrysler took over the Dodge Brothers company and made it part of Chrysler. The next emblem we're going to check out, after an Auburn badge, as always, we're going to move up to post-war time. And I actually bought a couple boxes of parts, and I found a bunch of cool badges in it. There may even be some more. I haven't gotten through it all yet. Alec wants a close-up on the Dodge Brothers. There we go. See if you guys can see it over there on Facebook a little bit better. As we start talking about the next badge. Bought some boxes of parts from some people that I know. They used to have a Studebaker. And there's some really cool stuff in these boxes that I found. There's only 2 or 3 boxes. I don't know if I'm going to find anything else cool or not. But the Studebaker that this gentleman used to own, and this was 30 or 40 years ago, back in the late 80s, early 90s probably, was kind of an interesting one. Jason says Heather just winked at him. Possibly. But what was kind of interesting about it is it was a name that Studebaker used in the pre-war years, but used it very sparingly in the post-war years. And really, realistically, only used it for about 4 years in the post-war years, up until '66 when Studebaker, completely closed up shop. That car was built from 55 to 58, and that model is the particular model that this guy that I knew owned years ago. And what's kind of cool about that is it was called the Studebaker President. Like I said, there's some pretty cool stuff in these boxes. We got some really super neat stuff to look at. Zach's here, Whiskey Business. So, you bet, Alec, no problem. There's some really cool, really rare. I assume they're really rare. I don't know how. They didn't seem like they made a lot of presidents. This is a pretty much basic standard badge. There's a couple of other variations of president badges that I found in these boxes. We'll kind of work our way through some of those over the next several weeks as we mix in some Studebaker stuff out of this box. So, this president badge, this is chrome plated. And believe it or not, there's some gold ones in there too. So we'll get some of those out as well. This is about 10 1/4 inches long from the P to the tip of the T. So about 10 1/4 inches long all the way along here on this one. It's about 1.25 inches tall at the P. The P is about 1.25 inches tall, so we'll buy a little over 10 to give you an idea on size. Like I said, this is chrome plated. There are some gold plated ones or gold, finish type ones in there as well. So we will, we'll get some more of those worked in, but there's some other super cool Studebaker stuff in this box, including some new old stock stuff. So it's going to be exciting to go through some of that and share some of that with you. This is a pop metal emblem. It was stud mount. Basically flat, and it actually had barrel nuts on it, flat on the back. That's just pushed in on the car. So anyway, and like I said, there's some really, really cool badges in here. So Kenny says he hadn't even seen this one. Pete digs it. But Tweely D likes it. Like I said, there's some, I'm still going through these boxes. There's just 2 or 3 or 4 small boxes, but there's some pretty neat stuff in there. And there's some super cool new stock boxes as well. So we'll see what else we find. But the president was made, obviously they made it in the pre-war years, but in the 50s they used it 55, 6, 7, and 8. And obviously in kind of a somewhat tumultuous time period for Studebaker as they merged with Packard in 56, 57, 58, like we've talked about a little bit in the past. And then Studebaker only had a few short years left up until 66 before they were completely done. So David W. Repops of those have straight pins on the back. Original had taper pins. Well, these still have barrel nuts on them. But actually, if you look close, I don't know if you can see it. They have a point. They come to a point. So I would assume these are original. And like I said, this guy's had this stuff for decades. So good to know, David. Glad that you threw that up there. Jason needs one for his bedroom door. There you go. Alec, was there anything special regarding the use of that word on the car? I think it was kind of their premium, upper level car, upper level trim package, I think is where they were going with the Studebaker President. Like I said, and there again, I apologize. As we get into some more of these president stuff in these boxes, I will get some more information about it. Tonight, obviously, I was a little pressed for time trying to get everything done. And Meaning any political affiliation to it? No, I think it was just an upper scale car was the only thing they were going for with that, Alec. Jason says his in-laws are visiting. Maybe they're hanging out with us tonight as well. But like I said, we're going to learn more about the president because there's some more cool stuff in this box. I don't know what all is there. This was kind of on top. Thought it was kind of interesting. We haven't looked at anything like it before. So we'll kind of work it in, and we'll all learn some more about the Studebaker president as we kind of go through some more of this stuff, since I know there's a lot more cool stuff to check out. So neat how they printed from the P. So anyway, cool piece. I'm trying to make sure I keep it up with as many comments as possible. I'm sure I've probably missed a few. I apologize to you guys that I do miss, but I try to keep up with them. But there we go. That's what we've got for tonight on the badges. The Dodge Brothers Standard 6, as well as the Studebaker President. That's right, Alan. A 55 President Speedster was a great car. Those were a very sharp car. If you don't know what those are, go ahead and Google that and look up a 55 Studebaker President Speedster. Very, very sharp car. So, hope you guys enjoyed the auction or the badges tonight. And like I said, one more got some more cool stuff. That's right, David. Studebaker had a Dictator model in the 40s. They didn't have a Studebaker Dictator model in the 30s. Actually, they got rid of the name after the political situation in Europe in the late 30s. But yes, they did have a Studebaker Dictator for sure. Auburn badge. How about some auction stuff? I do have some auction stuff ready. I don't know how much I've got ready. I cleaned some stuff up this afternoon when I had a little bit of time. I threw it all in the boxes. So we got some stuff to sell. I don't know how much we'll do or what we'll do, but we've got some stuff to sell. As always, because it's a ton of fun and it adds to your guys' collection, which is awesome. It supports the time I put into this financially, and it gives you guys stuff for your collections of memorabilia. So never a bad thing. No matter how you slice that up, works well for everybody. Super cool to be able to add some of my collection to yours, since some of the stuff that I've got duplicates on and things like that, moving them on down the road to you guys is super cool, and I'm glad you guys are having fun with it as well. So anyway, basic auction rules. Reno's here with us. Basic auction rules. Actually, before we get into auction rules, since Reno just jumped on, addresses. Obviously, Reno, I did not get your address on your PayPal, so I do need your address. I got the payment, but I do not have shipping information. Tweely D, like I mentioned, I had an issue with your shipping information, but if your other check's coming, maybe it'll be on that one. I'll double check what I had on last week's payment versus this week's and double check that. So that's right, Tweely D, investment for kids later in life. Pete's ready for auction time. Zach's ready. We always know Zach's ready. Jason's ready. Have not seen Norma on tonight. And Buchanan. Still need an address from Buchanan. Need an address for Reno. And Tweely D, like I said, maybe I'll double check your other payment when it gets here this week for an address on that. But we need to get that straightened out so I can get it shipped too. So anyway, auction rules. As usual, we'll skip through these real quick. Old school's here. As always, we'll get something out. We'll look at it. We'll check it out. We'll show it to you. We'll give you some dimensions. We'll look it over and see what everybody thinks about it. Check it out. Look at the condition. I'll show you any flaws in it. Once we start checking it out, feel free to throw a bid out there. If you're kind of somewhat interested, at least go ahead and throw a bid out so I know that somebody's ready to play on it. If I don't see anybody jumping in, then I don't think anybody wants it, and we'll throw it back in the box. I know a lot of you guys like to wait till the end, obviously, to throw your bid in. But if it's something you're interested in, go ahead and throw something out there so we can get us rolling. That way I know there's at least interest in the piece. Alec has extra money since he missed last week. After we get done with the description, I will announce where the current bid is at. At that point, I will put it on a timer on my phone, just like this. We will go 2 minutes. I will tell you when 1 minute has passed. I will tell you when 1 minute, 20 seconds has passed, and I will tell you when 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. And once I give you that minute 30, please be thinking about your maximum bid. We do have delays on here. Your delay is going to vary depending on where you are at, or depending on your device and your internet service. Tablet, phone, PC, laptop, all that seems to affect the delay. So once I tell you we're past 1:30 on here on the timer, we're probably just about done with the auction. So be sure to be thinking about throwing your max bid out if you're serious about something. Non-U.S. buyers are more than welcome to play. However, due to payment costs and shipping costs out of the U.S., you will have to figure out a way to pay me, and you will have to pay shipping. Most of the small stuff, I do include shipping in the 48 states. If it is something that will have separate shipping, I will announce that. But non-U.S., you will have shipping and payment costs. And also, but if you want to buy for a couple weeks and then pay it once so we can ship it all together, we can do that as well. I do that because that keeps it fair for everybody else, especially the smaller stuff where shipping is included in the 48 states. If we start spending all the money this generates to ship out of the country, there's no money left to replenish the auctions and things like that. And so that's why I have to do that to be fair with everybody else. Non-U.S. bidders, you're more than welcome to play, but that's how we have to do it. If you don't pay, you don't play anymore. It's real simple. If you come run a bunch of stuff up and don't pay for it, you don't play anymore. It's real easy. We've only got a few people that haven't paid. So fortunately, we've got a really great group on here. That's what makes this thing tick, and that's what makes it work. And huge shout out to all of you guys for all of that. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with some stuff. See what's happening. Last few weeks, we started out with some matchbooks, something smaller to kind of get rolling. Maybe we'll do that again tonight. Just to let everybody kind of feel out how things are going and maybe check your delay, things like that, or check a Hudson badge. So let's go ahead and get started. We'll start off with a couple of small things. And like I said, I don't have anything real super high dollar tonight. I've got some stuff that's a little bit more money, but no big signs or anything tonight. And we'll see how things go. In fact, let's start off with these matchbooks. Like a lot of you guys know, I bought a big matchbook collection with tons of super cool graphics on them. And we've been auctioning a few of those off. Yeah, we did resell that can that some dum-dum threw $500 bid out on. Yeah, we resold it. It's gone a long time ago. For, $30 or $40, which is what it should have brought anyway. So anyway, we'll start off with something small, let everybody kind of figure out where they're at. So we'll figure out where their delays are at and see how things are going. We'll start off with some big truck matchbooks. Like I said, some of these matchbooks are the dealership ones I'm having real trouble parting with. So I don't know if we'll do many more dealership ones. But we've got bars, trucks, buses, trains, service station. We got a lot of cool automotive related stuff. And we'll start off with some big truck stuff. We'll start off with kind of a regular one. Ozark Fox to start off something small like a Crosley. Superior semi-trailers and bodies. Old semi-trailer, probably from the 50s. Silver, blue, and white. Not a lot of color, but still cool graphics. You can actually open the matchbook and send in for more information about superior semi-trailers and bodies. Or Bill says a Messerschmitt, yeah. The next one is the Brashear Freight Lines. Direct daily between St. Louis, Kansas City, and Tulsa. Brashear Freight Lines with a super cool, probably late 30s era truck on this one. Nothing inside of this one, just a super cool truck on the front of it. And the last one. All three of these will be on one auction, though, for the Boyd Truck Lines. Daily refrigerator service out of Kansas City, Missouri. Save the best for the last. Check out the super cool color sketch of the big semi ready to roll. Mark says money order on the way. Perfect. This one does have daily direct service between Kansas City, Missouri, and all of these cities. So there we go. I've got Bill Disc at 15 is my high bidder on all three of them. Like I said, start off with something small, kind of get everybody rolling, but still super cool with the graphics on these things on all three of these matchbooks. So we'll go ahead and kick this off on the timer and get rolling, kind of get everybody in the swing of things, get in the mood for the auctions on something small here. And Bill Disc at 15 is my high bidder. Get my notes made so I can keep track of everybody's shipments after we get done. Mark at 18. Alec at 17. Mark at 18. I've got Mark at 18 on YouTube. And coming up on the 1 minute mark. Mark at 18 is my high bidder. As we go past the 1 minute point on the trucking matchbooks. And like I said, that's kind of, we kind of start small, nothing real big, but just super cool. When you look at the graphics, you look at the era, both those trucks are probably late 40s, maybe late 30s, maybe into the 40s. Alec at 20. Alec at 20 on Facebook. As we're getting to the minute 30 mark. Alec at 20 on Facebook as we pass the minute 30 mark. Mark's back at 22 on YouTube. Mark at 22 with 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Bill at 26. Bill Disc at 26. As we're coming down to the wire on this one. And that does it. Bill at 26. Bill Disc at 26 on the trucking matchbooks. Mark came back at 27. Yeah, the artwork is great on these. Even though matchbooks aren't super valuable, they are collectible and they're so cool. You can do some nice stuff with them. Bill Disc at 26. Get these clipped together. Oh, since he's been working on getting a CDL, so I guess it kind of makes sense to get some cool trucking memorabilia. Rob's got a huge collection of matchbooks like that on Facebook. Yeah, they're awesome stuff. The artwork, the graphics, it's great stuff. Mark says, perfect start. Jason has a bunch of matchbooks too. Yeah, they're great pieces. How about a couple of license plates? Start off with a couple of license plates here. One of them is kind of rough, and one of them still looks pretty decent. One of them is a little rough, so we're going to sell them both together. Starting off with a Kansas 55. It has been repainted, and it has been up a little bit. It does look like it was a black plate originally. Yep, I don't know where Norma's at. Zach, she wasn't with us last week, and I have not seen her yet this week. Yeah, so, yep, Alex says even the graphics are cool, too. Yeah, they're great, that's for sure. So I don't know where Norma's at, where she's been up to. Maybe she'll be on with us here shortly. Not sure, but we'll keep on rolling through things, checking stuff out, because that's what we do here. We have a good time. I'm just checking. Highlander's here. Yep, Highlander, you're perfect. You only missed one auction, so just getting geared up, just getting started. I want to check one thing on this plate real quick, or trying to, if I can. Real quick, check something out on this one plate on color, because it's been repainted, but I think it's been repainted kind of an original coloring, so bear with me a second here. I want to double check, see if I can find my pictures. Okay. Highlander, I'm at the station, so I might be in and out. Yep, Norma has missed a few cool plates. We've got a few plates right now. Let's see. What are we missing here? Make sure I stay caught up. But anyway, the next couple plates, like I said, the first one's kind of rough. It is a 55 Kansas, but it's kind of rough, and it's been repainted. Now, it is a black plate. And the back, I believe, is the original black paint, but I just looked up the picture of mine, and this border should be white as well. The letters are supposed to be white. And so this is kind of a cheesy repaint job on a 55 Kansas. However, it is correct colors. It's just kind of rough. The next one's a little bit better shape. John's here with us. Kansas 1970. Has a little bit of overspray, like somebody like a spray can blew up or something over here. A little bit of overspray. Kind of a light green and white. Pretty decent looking plate. Original paint, like I said, just had some, it looks like a spray can or something hit it or something. Back still looks pretty decent on the 1970 Kansas. I've got Alec at 15 kicking us off on the pair. We're going to sell them both. Since this one's kind of tough, we're going to throw them in together. I've got Alec at 15 to kick this thing off. So we'll go ahead and get this thing on the timer. And we are live on the pair for one money. Alec at 15. Get my notes caught up here. Yep, I don't know where Norma's at tonight. So this is the second week in a row she's missed us, I think. So hopefully everything is going well with her and everything's okay. And I've got Lee at 30 right now. Lee at 30 on the pair is my high bidder. Let's slide in an Auburn badge in there for you guys while we're boogieing along here. As we are coming up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. Ticking along, Lee at 30 is my high bidder on the pair, 55 and 70 Kansas plates. That's right, it does almost match the Edsel promo, Jason, that's for sure. 120 has now passed. You want Hudson too? Mark wants Hudson as well, so we'll throw that up there as we come up on the minute 30 mark. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. I've got Lee at 30 is my high bidder on YouTube. Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it. 20 seconds to go. Right down to the 20-second mark. Lee at 30 on the pair of plates. 15 seconds. Lee at 30. 10. Coming down to the wire. Lee at 30. Alec at 32, and that does it. Alec got that in at about 158 and a little change. Lee came back at 33, but I had Alec at 32 on Facebook. That was a pretty good shot, Alec. That was literally at about 158 and a half. There wasn't much time after that. So thanks, guys. Appreciate you taking care of me there. I got something else. I don't know if you guys have any interest in it or not, but it's something kind of cool. It is kind of a piece of automobilia type stuff. You guys tell me if you're interested in it. If you're not, we won't worry about it, but it is something kind of different. I think you guys will like it. But who remembers the old clip-on vanity mirrors that clipped on your sun visor, flipped it down, and you'd have a little extra mirror there? Some cars had them factory. Some of them didn't. Steve's here with us. And it was kind of, like I said, some cars had them factory, but, the fancier cars always did. But then a lot of the base cars didn't. And then they had different kind of specialty mirrors, and that's kind of what I got here that I wanted to share with you guys. And you guys tell me if you're interested in bidding on it or not. If nobody bids on it, we'll throw it back in the box, but it's kind of cool. This is the one that actually had a data chart on it. Yep, you flipped it down, mileage record, start, time, finish, service record, oil, lubrication, battery. Now the reflective part is weak. It's not busted, but the reflective part is weak. But it's kind of a cool piece. Check it out. You can see the screen in it. So it has a little bit of reflection. Almost kind of tough to even show you what it is, actually. But you can see where it says mileage record, start, time, finish. And it has a little box where you can write it. I don't know what you wrote it with, but I don't want to try to write on it. Over here, service record for oil, lubrication, and battery. So, like I said, if I don't have any idea if you guys are interested in any of this or not. But if you are, let me know. It's about 6 inches. Yep, Ozark Fox. I've seen them with clocks in them. Seen them with all kinds of stuff. This is 6 inches by 4 inches. It does still have the clips on the back. Has kind of wood grain finish on the back. So, you guys tell me what you think. Is this something like this of any interest to anybody, or we throw it back in the box? So, Mark's going to start us off at 15. That's good with me. Zach said 5, but I've got Mark at 15. Like I said, it's kind of different. Like I said, no idea if this is of any interest to you guys, but Mark at 15 is going to start us off. So let's go ahead and do it. We'll kick it off on a start. Like I said, it has kind of wood grain finish on the back. A lot of these, some of the manufacturer ones had certain, I know Buick had one that said you flip it down and it said Buick is a beauty too, just like whoever the lady looking into it, type of thing. So kind of an interesting deal, used for multiple different things, marketing gimmicks. And, today it's, flip them up and you got lights and everything in there. And that's what everybody's used to and almost expects anymore. But this was back in the time when you didn't even get a mirror in a lot of cars. So kind of a cool piece. Mark at 15 is my high bidder. And we're ticking along on this thing. Get my notes made here as we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. We're on the back side of this thing. We've got 15 on it right now. I've got Mark at 15. Mark might be the only one that wants it, and that's fine. Like I said, it's something different and something kind of cool, so maybe you guys will dig it. So 120 has passed. And we're at the minute 30 point mark at 15. Looks like Mark's going to be our winner on this one, unless somebody's going to snipe it. But like I said, not super high dollar, just something kind of cool, kind of get things rolling. 20 seconds left to go. 15. Down to 10. 5. And that will do it. We'll go ahead and jot Mark down on that at 15. And keep on moving. How about some emblems? Time for some emblems. We haven't done any emblems yet tonight. We got some hubcaps, valve covers, cans, emblems, another license plate, all kinds of cool stuff. Let's do some Ford emblems. Early 60s era Ford stuff. We'll start off with a 500. I think this is 62, 63 era, something like that. Yeah, we got a couple valve covers tonight, Zach. Alex excited. This 500 is a little over 5 inches long. Cans, yeah, we got some cans coming. And the 500 is about 1.25 inches high. The other one we're going to do, this is like a 64 era, just kind of the basic Ford badge. We've mixed some of these in with the, we've had a few of these before. And these are, I think they're 64. They're 5.5 by about 1.25 inches. So these are about 5.5 long. These are flat stud mount. And the third badge in this bundle is a Falcon. This is a 63. It's got a part number, starts with C3. 63 Falcon badge. This is a pretty cool one. I think this is Futura. It's got the big Falcon wing up here. This is a pop metal base. These are cool badges. Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys got my back on that. Pretty flat. It's got a slight curvature to it. It is stud mount. It does have one broken stud. I think there's supposed to be another stud here, and one stud is here. Mark at 20. Highlander at 30. All three of them, one-shot deal on the Ford badge bundle. And Highlander at 30. Yeah, I have seen those mirrors with a clock, Bill. Yes, I have. And let's kick this thing off. Highlander at 30 is my high bidder at this point. I've got some other bids coming in, but the Highlander at 30 is my high bid. Highlander at 30. Alec at 32 on Facebook on the Ford badge bundle. Alec at 32. Working towards that 1 minute mark. All three Ford badges, one money. Alec at 32 on Facebook. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, 1 minute has passed. Whoa, I dropped my phone. We're still going, though. We're still ticking. I didn't mess it up. Alec at 32. Alec at 32 is my high bidder. 120 has passed on the Ford badge bundle. A minute 30 has passed. We're coming down to the end on this one. Alec at 32 is my high bidder. 20 seconds left to go. I've got Alec at 32. Is anybody going to snipe this one? 15. 10. Big job at 33. 5 seconds left to go. Big job at 33. And that does it. Mark came in at 35, just a couple seconds too late, but we already had Big Job at 33 when we hit that 2 minute mark. Big Job's always tough when we come to cool Ford stuff, that's for sure. All right, let's get these taped back up so I keep them all together and try to keep this stuff straight. Oh. How about we do a can? Kind of a different can, one we haven't done before. This is a 1 gallon metal MFA oil company. Gasoline, kerosene, motor oils, and grease. It is blue. It's a super cool can. Check this thing out. Nice red, white, and blue logo. 1 gallon square can. MFA oil company on the side. appears to be original cap on the top. MFA on both sides. This was heavy caster machine was what this oil was listed as on this metal 1 gallon. Mark is at 20. Mark is at 20. And we're going to go ahead and kick this thing off. I've got Mark at 20 on the MFA 1 gallon heavy caster machine can. It does have a little bit of surface rust down here, and it's bent a little bit in this corner. But overall, still looks pretty good. So anyway, I've got Rob at 25 on Facebook. So Rob at 25 is my high bidder as we kick this thing off live on the timer. Let me get my notes caught up here so I can keep this stuff straight. And I've got Rob at 25. Edric at 30. 30 on YouTube. Big Guys 45's here. Mark at 33. Ticking along, coming up on the 1 minute mark. Yeah, I got you, Rico. I knew that. So, ticking along here, almost to the 1 minute mark. Mark at 33. 1 minute is passed on the backside of this thing. Mark at 33. $120 has now passed. I've got Mark at 33 is my high bidder. Coming up on the minute 30 mark. Mark at 33. A minute 30 has passed. We are getting down towards the wire. By the time you see this, we're probably just about done. I've got Mark at 33. 20 seconds left to go. 15. Tweedledee at 35. 10 seconds left to go. Mark at 36. And that does it. Mark barely snuck that 36 in, but he got it done. That was tight, but he got her snuck in there. All right. What else we got? We got all kinds of cool stuff. How about an Auburn badge? Let's do a valve cover. I got two of them, so we'll do them. We'll start off with this one. Then actually, I got the other one piled full of emblems. After we sell those emblems, then we'll get to the other one. So this valve cover is a chrome valve cover from a 60s era Pontiac. Once again, like we talk about a lot, I don't think valve covers get the credit they deserve for decorator pieces to actually, I mean, they're cool. They have specific designs. This one doesn't say Pontiac, but they're a very unique design. And they do, because everybody had different engines. Even GM, now everything's corporate, but everybody had their own engines back in the day. They look different. They had their own valve covers. That's why these are so unique. So This Pontiac one, this is a standard V8, like a 389, 421 era chrome valve cover off of Pontiac. It is used. It's got dings, scuffs, scratches, a little surface rust in it. So the backside looks like an old used valve cover, but still kind of cool pieces. So like I said, if there's any interest in this, we can go ahead and get this thing rolling. If not, we'll throw it back in the stack. But it's a cool piece. Like I said, valve covers, to me, I love valve covers. They're always great to be able to hang up, show off, display. And there's a lot of cool ones out there, especially if you're brand loyal type stuff. So that's right, Wall DC is definitely something cool to hang on the wall. And Alec is going to start us off at 15. I'll sign whatever anybody wants. I don't know why anybody would want me to sign anything, but I will sign it if anybody wants to sign. Yeah, wants to sign. That's right, it is shiny. That's for sure, Kenny. So we've got Alec at 15. So let's go ahead and throw her on the timer and get things boogieing. And we are live. We are live on the timer on the chrome Pontiac valve cover. Rusty Nails is here. Alec at 15. Kenny got his Jump C valve cover last week. And ticking along, Alec at 15. I said, I personally love valve covers, but maybe that's just me. I don't know. Some of you guys seem to be getting into them. Anything that makes a statement piece that is distinct to an engine, I always think is cool. So that's why we're trying one of these as well. Alec at 15 as we come up on the 1 minute mark. And 1 minute has now passed. We are on the back side of this one. Alec at 15. Minute 20 has passed. Sebastian likes the old offie stuff. Yeah, that stuff's cool too. Minute 30 has passed. Alec at 15. Be thinking about your bids if you're going to jump in on this one. We're just about done on time. Alec going to walk out of this for 15 bucks. 20 seconds to go. 15. 10. Mark at 20. Zach at 22. And that does it. Zach slid that in at 22. Couple of bids right there at the end. But Zach at 22. Whiskey business. Slid in right there at the end. Yeah, that was a pretty good shot. A couple of them took shots right there at the end. So, oh boy, what all we got here? Some more emblems. I got two Oldsmobile hubcaps. You guys want to do them together or separate? You tell me what you think on the Oldsmobile hubcaps. They are different. Ozark Fox, I need a 427 or single overhead camera, a Boss 429 valve cover. I actually do, and Jim's got a spare. They're expensive. Even his spare is expensive. I keep thinking I need to try to buy it from him, but they're expensive. So, but I'm working on it. Hopefully, maybe I'll get something worked out with him. But you're right, Ozark. Those are awesome valve covers. I'd love to get a hold of one of those. Let's see. How about something else a little bit different? Alex says do them separately, okay? Alex says do the old hubcaps separate. I've got two of them. They're both rough on the back, but they both still look pretty cool. So Alex vote is separate. What did the Charger go for? The purple Charger brought $37.5, Rusty Nails. Something else a little bit. Mark says do them together. So we'll see what the general consensus is. We got a vote to sell them together and a vote to sell them separately. Something else we haven't done on here before. I was looking around the shop today, and the little bit of time that I did have, I thought, well, shoot, let's try something like this. Zach says together. Jason says separate. You guys aren't making this any easier. So together. So looks like most of them are saying together. Only a few votes to get them separate. Together, says Wall DC. I guess we'll do them together. Well, that's what everybody's saying. Do them together. So we'll do a pair of those next after this. This is something, I've got some of these. This one is kind of a, I don't know if this is a spare or not, but see if there's, just kind of see if anybody was interested in it. Something a little bit different. Who remembers the tire ashtrays? Yeah, I thought we'd throw one of these up tonight. A Firestone tire ashtrays. This one is just says Firestone in it. It does not list a specific store or anything. Obviously, glass center, rubber tire. Jason's kicking this one off right out of the gate at $20. Frank's starting off at 10. We got Jason at 20. This is a little over 6 inches in diameter. John's got a few of those. I've always thought they were cool. I've got several of them. Rico at 25. The glass tray part is about 2 5/8 inside the glass tray part of it. Wall DC's got a Cyberling. Yeah, most tire companies actually made these things. It's about 2 inches outside here. X-Ray at 28. Dennis at 30. On the Firestone tire ashtray. Let's go ahead and get this thing on the timer. X-Ray at 32 on the Firestone. Mark at 35. Dennis at 36. These are great pieces. Obviously, ashtrays anymore completely not acceptable really anywhere, much less for marketing. And Mark at 38. So that, but still definitely a piece of time from the 60s. I like them. I've got several of them. 1 minute has now passed on the Firestone tire ashtray. Dennis or Mark at 38 is my high bidder. Minute 20 has passed, about to that minute 30 mark. So be thinking about your max bids. I've got Mark at 38. As 1 minute 30 seconds has passed, Mark at 38 is my high bidder. $20 seconds left to go. Mark at 38. 15 seconds. 10. Tweedly D at 39. 5 seconds left to go. Tweedly D at 39 is my high bidder. Mark at 50, and that does it. Whew! That was tight. Mark snuck that in at 50. Mark went in big, and that's what got it done. Mark at, or was it 40 or 50, Mark? Because it came in at 50, and then you said nope at 40. It was supposed to be 40. So we got kind of a mix up here. So Mark's bid was wrong, and then that should have taken out Tweedly D and Zach, but now I don't remember because Zach was right after that at 41, but I don't remember if it was after the 2 minutes or not because that 50 came in right at like the 159 and change, and I don't know if Zach at 41 got it done or not. So, yeah, well, and the replay against, I'm trying to watch my phone here. So, but Zach was at 41 at the same time on my screen. So I don't know what to do on that because it's all backed up on there. So I guess I don't know, the only fair thing to do I can think of is we'll just do it next week. Because some people say Mark got it, some people say Zach got it, and I really, like I said, I really don't know. So that's all right, Mark. We'll get it straightened out. We'll just do it later. We'll just do it next week. Because I really can't tell. I don't know who, like I said, I've got my timer right here. I'm watching my screen while I'm watching both of these screens right here. So that's Big Job says do it again now. And we'll throw it back in the box. Let's do it later. That way we'll just start fresh on it when the time comes. I don't want anybody to be upset. I don't know what's the fair way to do it since if Mark was 40, Zach was 41, and they came in right at about the same time. So Kenny says just bid it off between them. We'll just that happens. I'm not upset about any of it. I'm just going to throw it back in the box. We'll do it again next week and start from scratch. That's the only way I know what to do. To keep it fair with everybody. That's right, Tweety. That is the first time that we've actually had that happen. Somebody had a typo at the same time at the last second when there was a couple bids coming in. So we'll just do it later and start from scratch. I don't really know another fair way to do it. So, but let's do something else. Everybody want to do those Oldsmobile hubcaps together. A lot of people are saying a redo next week is fair, so there's a lot of support for that. I like that idea. Let's just do that. I'll scratch it off my list, and we'll skip it. That's right, Mark. There's a first time for everything. It does happen, that's for sure. And the general consensus was to do the Oldsmobile caps together. These are the only caps that I've got for tonight. And, like I said, the backs are a little rough, but they're great wall hangers. So let's go ahead and kick these things out. These are both the smaller dog dish style hubcaps. This is like late 40s, maybe early 50s Oldsmobile. Big Job just loves auctions, period. You see the older style Olds badge in here. This is a dog dish size cap. Chrome plated steel on a metal backing. It is a little over 10 inches, just a hair over 10 inches in diameter. Original paint, which you can see is a lot of it is faded and chipped. This would have been black around this outside perimeter with obviously the red and the yellow inside of it. The other Oldsmobile cap that is going to be going with this, since the general consensus was sell them together, so we're going to sell them together, just like most of you guys wanted. This one is really rough on the back, but this is a couple years newer, earlier to mid-50s with the Oldsmobile World on it. This one is rough on the back. It is rusty on the back. It wouldn't stay on a wheel, but it looks super cool. Dings, dents, scratches because the thing's almost 70 years old, but still a cool piece with a great look. It is also just a hair over 10 inches in diameter. So, on the pair of Oldsmobile caps, going together, one money on the pair. A little bit earlier, late 40s, right around 1950, into the early 50s, maybe mid 50s on this one here. So anyway, Alec at 15 on the pair. Jason at 25 on the pair. I'm going to have to sit these down for just a second as I make my notes. We're going to get this thing on the timer. Jason at 25 is my high bidder, and we are live. We're ticking away on these. Let me get my notes jotted down, then we'll take another look at them. X-Ray at 27. Kind of sneak peek through around them. X-Ray at 27 as we're ticking along on this one. It's like you guys are getting thirsty. My hands are full. We'll get some badges up here in a second. Big Job says I knew the Astray would be a snipes item. Yeah, that's kind of what happened. And we're coming up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. I can't show you because my hands are full of the pair of Oldsmobile caps. I've got X-ray at 27. Yes, there is a crack in this cap over here, Kenny. That is true. That is correct. I forgot to point that out. There is a crack in the chrome. Like I said, these are both pretty much wall hangers, but they're pretty cool wall hangers. Minute 20 has now passed. X-ray at 27. Alec at 28. As we come up on the minute 30 mark, a minute 30 has now passed. Alec at 28. If you're going to jump in on these, time to be thinking about it. We're coming down to the wire. Alec at 28. 20 seconds left to go. Bill, a disc at 40. 10 seconds left. I've got Bill at 40 on the pair. Sebastian at 41. Zach at 46. And Zach at 46 gets it done. Oh, get those sat down there. And let's see, a bunch of comments I missed popping up there. Let's go ahead and get caught up here real quick. Let's see. Shopcat's here. I know I'm missing some of you. Things got scrolling there pretty quick. So anyway. Yeah, it's actually a pretty decent chair. It just squeaks. So anyway, what else we got? We got all kinds of good junk here. How about another cool little can? We did one of these a month or two ago. This is the other one. I had two. This is the last one as of right now on these. As far as good idea, Jason. Jason says hit the like button. Appreciate that. On these Texaco home lubricant cans, these are great little cans. They're a great little small display piece. Like I said, we did one of these a month or two ago. This is the last spare that I have as of right now on the little Texaco home lubricant, net 4 ounces. This is just a tick under 4 inches on the can itself. We go all the way to the tip of the spout, and we're about 7.5. That's right, Big Job. I wonder if I can find any oil. That's true. Maybe I should oil the old chair up with it before when I drain the oil, I can oil the chair up with it. Eric started us off at 10. Does have information on the back of the usage. Jason at 20. Like I said, I love these little handy oilers because they're such a nice size and such a cool little piece. This one does still have the actual little plastic cap on the top of it that would come off. Still got the original plastic cap for it. So super cool piece. The instructions on the back. Texaco Inc., New York, New York. Jason at 20 is our high bidder. It is new. It is full. It is new. But like it's got a few scuffs and scratches in it. It is a metal can. You can see the metal seam here. And I've got Jason at 20. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off live. And get rolling. Jason at 20. Try to think, look down here, see what we need to do next. Yeah, with the winter, spare me some oil. Yep. Maybe. We'll see. Dennis at 21. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, X-Ray's got a great idea. In fact, it's been a minute, so I'll go ahead and give you both of them. And we come up as we pass the 1 minute mark on the little handy oiler. Dennis at 21. Alec at 22. Alec at 22 is our high bidder on Facebook right now. We're coming up on the minute 30 mark. Minute 30 has now passed. $20 seconds left to go. Alec at 22, coming down to the wire. 15 seconds. 10. Mark at 23. Jason at 30. And that does it. Jason at 30. There was 3 bids right at the last second. Jason at 30 got it done. Kenny at 28. Tweely D at 24. But Jason at 30 got it done right there at the end. That's where throwing that other few bucks in there sometimes saves your butt when if there's something you really want. Rob says, got any higher end cans? I do. I got a lot of what I consider higher end cans, but I don't really sell them on here. Most of those are in my personal collection. I can see right through there my Silent Chief, my Husky. I got some pretty good stuff in my case, actually just right on the other side of the desk. But that's all stuff in my private collection. So most of what we sell on here, Rob, is just more the run-of-the-mill stuff for a lot of the guys that, are starting collections and things like that. But yeah, I've got what I consider some fairly high-end cans, but most of that stuff's in my personal collection that are keepers. Sebastian says in Hemmings there's a Husky gas pump for sale. Let's see. Oh, let's do some Pontiac emblems. Anybody like Pontiac emblems? We did some Pontiac valve covers. Let's see if anybody likes any Pontiac emblems. Rob likes higher end cans. Yeah, like I said, I got a little bit of everything, but I get into that rare stuff. I usually hold on to it. Of course, you got to pay up so much to get it, as you well know. But yeah, I've got a few of those. My Silent Chief and my Husky are probably a couple of my better ones for sure. But Pontiac fans, we've got 3 Pontiac emblems in this badge bundle. Starting off with a basic Pontiac badge. This is a plastic one, just a flat double-sided tape-mounted Pontiac badge. 6 inches long. Kind of just a nice, clean, small, narrow plastic Pontiac badge. The next Pontiac badge, the iconic Pontiac Arrowhead. Who doesn't remember these things? This one is just under 6 inches by about 2 3/8. Shopcast says look like a trunk badge on full size. It probably is. Early 60s. Pretty good chrome, couple little pits and scratches. It is a fairly flat badge, stud mount. Like I said, just under 6 inches by about 2 3/8. 6 inches, about 2 3/8. Stud mount on the back. And the third one is a Bonneville badge. This is like a 64 era Bonneville. Pretty cool piece. Flat on the back, stud mount. Alex kicking us off at 20 on the Pontiac badge bundle. Real quick, we'll give you some dimensions on the Bonneville. I've got Alec at 20. This is just a tick over a foot long. So this has a little bit of size to it as well. It's a little bit over a foot long. Alec at 20. Let's go ahead and get this thing live on the timer, and we are going. Mark at 22. I'm going to get my notes made here. As we're ticking along here, I've got Mark at 22. X-Ray says, likey to Bonnie. Mark at 22. We'll see what X-Ray is going to do if he likes the Bonnie that much. Crack the old neck. Alex back at 25 on the Pontiac Badge bundle. As we come up on the 1 minute mark, 1 minute has now passed. I've got Alec at 25. There you go, big job. Alec at 25, coming up on the minute 30 mark. Be thinking about your max bids if you want to jump in on these. Minute 30 has now passed. We're coming down to the wire on this one if you're going to get in. Alec at 25. 20 seconds left to go. 15. 10. Mark at 27. 5 seconds left. Tweedledee at 30. Alec at 33, and that does it. Alec at 33 on Facebook. Okay, some comments I missed. Poor old nobody thinks it's a Cadillac. That's right. That's a good one, Kenny. Shopcat, we didn't get Bonneville north of the border. We had Strato, Chief, Laurentian, Parisian, and 2+2. X-Ray Dean says the other ones he's already got. That makes sense. Anthony, you're making me wish I was American again. Chad loves the badges. Shopcat still has the badges from the 70 Parisian. So, any flat cans? I've got a couple, Jason, but I did not get any of those out tonight. Like I said, when we're in the middle of the auctions, I'm primarily watching for numbers. That's why after we sell something, I'm trying to go back and trying to catch a few of these comments because I'm basically watching for numbers while we're in the auction. When we're in auction mode, I'm looking at numbers. That's what I'm watching for. So that's why I've got to go jump back and catch a few of those comments. That's right, Tweedledee. You sure tried. You were right in there. Let's do another can. This is another 1 gallon round. Weston, how much did the 54 Chevy truck and the 64 El Camino bring at the auction? I don't remember on the truck. The 64 El Camino was like 24 or 24.5. Auburn. That's right, Mark says, I just need a few more eyes in my head. That's right. But let's do a 1 gallon round on a Z-Rex all-metal, non-evaporating, anti-freeze, and anti-rust can. The 5.0, the almost new 5.0, hammered at $23,000. This Z-Rex metal can, we can see the metal seam here. The top has been cut out. Bottom still intact. Gold in color. Z-Rex, DuPont. Z-Rex is in blue letters. DuPont is in red. Has the protection chart on the back. Mark starting us off at 20. Yeah, I thought the 5.0 was pretty reasonable. I really did. I thought it should have broke 25. But it didn't. And the seller was happy. They said that was more than they were getting offered for it. So when they had tried to sell the car. So big job. Remember those big cans as a kid. So the big Z-Rex, this is a metal 1 gallon top cutout Z-Rex can. Cool graphics, good colors. And that's, and there again, that's what we look for on cans. Mark at 20 has us started off on the Z-Rex can. Let's go ahead and kick this thing off on the timer. I'm going to make my notes here. It's a big Buick Can's brother. Yeah, there you go. I got X-Ray at 22. Mark at 25. Does it say Delaware on the back? Let's see. Yes, it does, as a matter of fact. E.I. DuPont and De Manures Company, Polytechnics Department, Wilmington, Delaware. Mark at 25. Jason's on a fridge run. As we are coming up on the 1 minute mark. Mark at 25 is my high bidder. Shopcat Wilmington is where the Chevettes were built. Minute 20 has passed. Mark at 25. And a minute 30 has now passed. Remember, if you're thinking about jumping in on this one, now is the time because we're about done. By the time you see this, we'll probably be wrapping this one up as we come up on the 20 seconds left to go mark. 15. Mark at 25. 10. Tim at 26. Bill Disc at 32. And that does it. Bill Disc at 32. Mark tried to come back at 35. It was a little bit too late. Bill Disc at 32. How about another license plate? Another Kansas plate. We're going to back this one up a little bit. And take a look at another Kansas license plate. This has been up a little bit. It is not rusted out. It is solid, but it's also 90 years old, 91 years old. So that makes a difference on the 1931 Kansas license plate. Kind of bent up a little bit. We can see a lot of the green left on it. This was a green plate originally with white letters. The white is pretty much gone. And not much really anything left of the white, but we do still have some green on it. The surface rust is light. It has not pitted the metal very deeply, if you guys can see that up close. We see the KAN and the 31 over here. The back of this, we can see the embossing in it. It's not rusted out anywhere. We're not missing any edges really to speak of from rust or rot. But obviously, lots of interest in this thing right out of the gate. Mark at 48 is our high bidder. So anyway, let's go ahead and kick this thing off and get rolling. Mark at 48. Captain America's here with us. Mark at 48 on the 31 Kansas plate. And we are live. I got my notes caught up. Mark at 48. Shop cap, my Chevette was an absolute blast to drive with a well-sorted, stockish engine and suspension, power brakes, handled like it was on rails. Mark at 48. As we come up on the 1 minute mark. 1 minute has now passed. We've got Mark at 48 on the 31, Kansas plate. Minute 20 has passed, coming up on the minute 30 mark. Mark at 48. A minute 30 has now passed. We're coming down to the wire on this one. Mark at 48. Everybody's been sitting on their thumbs on this one for the last minute. So let's see what happens with 20 seconds left to go. Eric at 53. 15 seconds left. 10 seconds. Mark at 55. 5 seconds left to go. Eric at 57. And that does it. Oh, David W. came in at 63 right after that, but Eric was in there at 57 when we hit the 2-minute mark. And then Alec came in at 50 over here as well, and we had stuff all over. Eric at 57 was my high bidder when we hit the 2-minute mark. So that's what I've got to go on. That's what I've got to go by, just to be fair with everybody. So we'll mark that one to Eric, and we'll move on. We got another super cool badge here coming up next. I'll give you a Hudson badge to think about it with, though. Yeah, the snipers were sniping on that one. There was a lot of stuff happening right at the end. And an Auburn badge. As we get ready to check out this new super cool badge, this is an enamel badge, 40s era. It is a Dodge. We've done a few similar to this, but I don't think we've done this exact one. This thing is super cool. Actually, the more I look at it, the more I think I should probably keep it. But I already told you guys I'm going to sell it. So, on this super cool, I think this is a trunk badge off of a 40s era Dodge. It is about 4.5 by about 2 3/4. Does have some chipping in the enamel right down here. It is fairly flat. It is stud mount on the back. Bill just says that's not a badge, that's art. David W. is in at 30 at this point, but it does have great colors. This is on a chrome base. The badge is actually right here. This is on a chrome base that mounted this to the car. So it's a pretty neat piece. Like I said, this is 40s era Dodge. And I've got David W. at 30 was the first one I had. Alex at 30 as well, but David W. was first on YouTube right out of the gate, almost immediately on this badge. So let's go ahead and kick this off on the timer. And get boogieing. Yes, great colors, nice chrome, beautiful piece. Alec at 35 on Facebook. Alec at 35 on Facebook. I had Randy at 35 also, but Alec was first on Facebook. Tim at 40, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Tim at 40 on the Dodge badge. Ticking along here, working towards the 1 minute mark. David W. at 50. And 1 minute has now passed. We're on the backside of this. David W. at 50. So this is a cool piece. You're going to want to be thinking about this one. And 120 has now passed. David W. at 50. And 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. We're coming down to the end. If you're going to jump in on this one, now's the time. David W. at 50 is my high bidder. 20 seconds left to go. Mark at 55. 15 seconds left. 10. Kenny at 65. And that does it. Kenny at 65. Snuck that one in right under the wire. David W. came in with a 2, but it didn't feed till late. Alec was 51, but Kenny at 65 was my high bidder at the 2-minute mark. All right. How about some more badges? Actually, I got a couple of some Chevy stuff, and then we need to get to the other valve cover. So we may do a couple more badges and then get the valve cover, then get moving on to the magazine. Big Guy's 45 is back. Tweely's getting a little thirsty. All right. Mark wants more stinking badges. Let's do some more stinking badges. The next one we're going to do, this is a one badge deal. This is a one-shot deal, one piece in this auction, but it's pretty cool. So it's actually not a top hood ornament, but it is a front hood ornament for a 1949 Chevrolet. Holy cow. About blind you with that thing. Look at that. Boom. Boom. This is a V-shaped badge off the front hood of a 49 Chevy. Stud mount, V-shaped, nice chrome, few pits, but definitely a cool piece. Not, like I said, not a top hood ornament. This was right on the very front edge of the hood for a 49 Chevy. This is about 6 inches on each way. About 6 inches here, about 6 inches here. Ridges on the top. Nice shape considering this thing is a 49, so it is, 70, a little over 70-some years old. Mark's kicking us off at 25 to get things going. Big Job loves his airplanes. Yeah, Big Job's got some pretty cool top hood ornaments here recently. The airplane shape. So, speaking of airplanes, keep that airplane thought in mind. Yeah, keep that airplane thought in mind, everybody. So, now that Big Job brought up airplanes, don't forget the airplane thing. Just saying. Might come up later. Possibly. And actually, we might be talking about airplanes a lot here coming up soon. So, anyway, let's get on with this badge. I got Mark at 25. Let's kick this thing off on the 49 Chevy hood badge. Nice, bright, shiny chrome. You almost blind you when it hits you wrong, catches the light. Mark at 25. Taking along. Here we go. Working towards the 1 minute mark on the 1949 Chevy front hood badge for a car. Considering its age, this thing has got a few pits and scratches, but it looks pretty darn decent. Mark at 25. Just about to crest that 1 minute mark. Mark at 25 is our high bidder on the 49 Chevy hood badge. That's right, Sebastian. It's about ready to bolt on. X-Ray says snipers are reloading. Hang in there. That's right. Could be. Mark at 25. As we're coming up on the 1 minute and 30 second mark. Minute 30 has passed. If those snipers are out there, be watching, ready for the firing squad. Here we go. Mark at 25. 20 seconds left to go. Pete at 46. 5 seconds. And that does it. Pete at 46. Kenny came in at 55, just 2 seconds too late. Pete at 46. Okay. Oh, some more. I got another pile of emblems here while we're doing it. While we're on Chivys. While we're on Chivys, let's do another one. Chevy Badge Bundle. Okay, 4 pieces. 2 kind of average, 2 super cool. Make sure we got Alec over here ready. Since we're talking about more emblems, you got to watch Alec on Facebook for emblems. So, okay, these are all half-ton Chevy badges, okay? First one, just a basic Chevy pickup grill emblem. Just a basic gold emblem. Flat mount, basically flat mount. Whoops. Studs are broke. Almost the whole emblem broke, but studs are broke. On the basic gold Chevy bow tie badge. Kind of gold. Gold's kind of faded, actually. And it's about 7.5 by about 2 3/4. So 7.5, 2 3/4 on the just the basic Chevy. I think it was a grill badge for a truck. Like I said, this is all half-ton stuff. The next one there again, this is a 20-year-old, early 2000s half-ton plastic Chevy 1500 with bow tie. Oh, Alex, so you were in on the Chevy hit on, so that must have been that 35, and I must have missed that. We ended up having market 46 on it, so I thought that was an old bid, Alec. I apologize. I missed that. So we've got the half-ton 1500. We've got a 3100 from 52, 53, 54 era. This is a flat stud mount pop metal emblem as well. And an Apache 10 off of a 60, like a 61 hood side. This is also basically a flat mount stud mount emblem. These are 8. This is about 8 inches. And this is about 8 3/8. So both a little over 8 inches. Alex kicking us off at 25 on the Chevy Badge Bundle on Facebook. I'll get you there, Alec. Got you right out of the gate. So Alec at 25 on the Chevy Badge Bundle. All 4 one money, 2 newer plastic ones, 2 old school pop metal ones. Mark at 28. Let's get this thing live on the timer. Mark at 28. Kenny at 30. Mark at 33. All 4 one money. Mark at 33 is our high bidder. Kenny at 36. Mark at 40. As we're coming up on the 1 minute mark, we're past the 1 minute mark as of right now. Mark at 40 is my high bidder. And 120 has passed. Mark at 40, but everybody's kind of sitting around right now. Minute 30 has passed. Kenny at 44. Alec at 45. 20 seconds left. Alec at 45. Mark at 47. 15 seconds. Mark at 47. 10. And that does it. Mark at 47. All right, let's get one more knocked out, then get out of the magazine. In case you guys haven't figured that out, I'm pretty beat tonight, so I'm wiped out. But we're going to keep moving. We're going to keep getting through here. There's some Auburn Badge to keep going. One more piece tonight, and then we're going to get out of the magazine. But we saved what I think this is a pretty cool piece here for towards the end. Once again, valve covers. Once again, I love valve covers. I know some of you guys do as well. The last piece for tonight, before we move on to the magazine, is another valve cover. A stamped, embossed valve cover for a super cool old school Cadillac. Oh, yeah, look at that. This thing's kind of banged up. It's got some dings, some dents, some surface rust. You know, the back's got a little bit of rust in it where it's kind of pitted up a little bit, but I mean, who cares? Jason's kicking us off at 30. This is mid-50s is what I think on this one. But it, like I said, I love these things. I've got one that's completely restored, or like completely sandblasted and repainted. You know, redid all the lettering on it. It's kind of ribbed here on the edges or on the ends. It's kind of ribbed. This is embossed. It is stamped in it. We can see, I don't know if you can see in the back, if I can get the light just right where you guys can see it in the back. Alec at 35. But the Cadillac is stamped in. This is a ridge that is stamped in. The Cadillac is stamped in. They're cool pieces. I really dig them. This thing is 20.5 by about 5 3/8. So it's about 20.5 all the way out to the lip by about 5 3/8, and that's to the lip as well. So let's kick this thing off. My high bidder is Alec at 35 on the Cadillac valve cover. This is mid-50s. And Alec at 35 is my high bidder. We are live on the timer on this last piece for tonight. Before we move on to the magazine, we're going to give you some Auburn action in there as well while we're boogieing through here. But I love these things. I think you guys can tell why. But I dig them. This is why I dig valve covers. It's just because they're all so unique. They're so cool. They're so stylish. No reason whatsoever to have cool valve covers, whether it's stamping in them or just ornamentation or specific designs. But that's what made engines stand out back in the day, because everybody had their own. There was no such thing as corporate engines in GM. Everybody had their own engines. Alec at 35. We are now past the 1 minute mark. Alec at 35 is my high bidder. We are past the 1 minute mark on the super cool Cadillac valve cover. But nothing's really happened since then. A couple bids right out of the gate, and everybody just kind of cool as a cucumber. So what's going to happen next? 120 has passed. Alec at 35. And 1:30 has passed. We are coming down to the wire. 1 minute, 30 seconds has passed. If you're going to jump in on this, now is the time. Alec at 35. Reno at 40. 20 seconds left to go. 15. I've got Reno at 40. Lee at 40, but I already had Reno at 40. Mark at 42. Sebastian at 48. 10 seconds left. 5. Coming down to the wire, Zach at 53. And that does it. Zach at 53, just barely, because I had Alec at 50 and Jason at 49. All right there. Boom, 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 boom. And that Leslie and Reno came in at 50 as well. That was Zach pulled that off because he threw a few extra bucks in. He must have thought everybody was coming in at $50 because he hit it at 53, and that got it done. So anyway, that was cool. That was a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody playing. And like I said, double check your addresses on your payments. Make sure they're there. And Reno, I need to get your address for sure for your stuff from last week, as well as those other ones I just read off to get addresses to get stuff shipped out. So other than Reno's and Tweedledees, I think everything they got paid for did get shipped last week. I think. Things are kind of a little jumbled from last week, but we'll keep working on it. So, yeah, it is cool, Alec. Those are great pieces. So, congratulations to all of our winners tonight, like Kenny says. It's a lot of fun with you guys, and I'm glad we do it the way we do and have so much fun, and that you guys are all such great sports, and that when there is a mix-up, we can power right on through it and keep on boogieing. So, Zach's going to send us a picture when he gets it done. So, thanks, everybody. Had a great time. Thanks, everybody, for playing along. Let's move on to tonight's magazine. We're part of a magazine. Like I said, there's been so much cool stuff in these magazines. We've been splitting them up. Obviously, considering I had about 0 time to prepare for tonight, that's kind of what we're going to have to do is just catch part of it. So, but tonight's magazine, Car Life. Car Life from May of 1967. Cover price of 50 cents. Track test, 7 Chevrolet supercars. And the 427 Impala test on the cover. Like I said, back then, not much color, but a beautiful, nice cover color here with a 427 Impala on the front. Pretty cool piece. Like I said, we'll do the first half of this magazine tonight. We'll catch the second half next week. And there's a lot of cool stuff in here tonight. So let's get into it and start checking it out. Starting off with the Chevrolet test. Magic at Mesa, the Supernatural 7 from Chevrolet's Bag of Tricks. Here's the cover shot. When does the Autolite rack get raffled off? We'll do it after we get done with the magazine, Mark. We're going to give it away here shortly after we get done with the magazine. Ken Nolan, what about a classic Playboy auto article? Because it was all about the articles. That's right. I assume they had car articles in them. I don't know. I don't have any old Playboys laying around. We can have to see if they got any cars in them. I don't know. But it is a cool magazine. Magic at the Mesa, the Supernatural 7 from Chevrolet's Bag of Tricks. The Ozark Fox, same month and year as him. But this is kind of a cool article. We're not going to catch all of it because there's several pages and it would take a long time to do it. But it was kind of talking about going to the General Motors Desert Proving Grounds near Mesa, Arizona. Chief wizard in the tale was Walter McKenzie, Chevrolet Division's genial technical projects manager. Without so much as an apparent wave of a magic wand or a rub of a magic lamp, McKenzie caused to appear at the mesquite-dotted flatland test course a fabulous array of automotive equipment for car life to prod and poke. More than 20 vehicles stood in precise file, their colors lending magic to the drab desert browns and grays. Drive one, drive any, drive all, McKenzie smiled to an automotive editor who remains an automotive enthusiast. This is the equivalent of finding a genie in the bottle, the one who grants wishes. Corvettes, Camaros, Chevelles, full size, everything in this article. And like I said, we could get into all of it and go for quite a while because it's about 5 or 6 pages. But I'm going to show you some pictures, and then we're going to get into a few details. Because like I said, we can spend the rest of the night on this article. We can't do that. We don't have time. But the first set of pictures, Chevrolet Z28 Camaro shows broad competition stripes, stem to spoiler stern, a fitting signature to a factory-built sedan class racing package on the 67 Z28. Now, one thing that's very interesting, and this is what's so great about this stuff, we've seen this before when we look at some of these pictures in these old magazines on test cars. And I didn't even see this when I looked earlier. It just caught my eye. Exclusive to the Z28 is the new 302 cubic inch engine with high-rise intake manifold and tubular exhaust headers for free breathing. There's one other thing that it mentions that is pretty unique about this picture. This is an RSZ. It does have hideaway headlights, a mixture of business and pleasure. The Z28's interior features Rally Sport steering wheel console and console-mounted clock instrument group plus a tack. Some cool shots of the 67 Z28 for the article. But guess what caught my eye? Anybody see it? What looks a little different in one of these pictures than what we're used to on a standard Camaro? Something looked a little different to me that it just jumped out. Anybody see it yet? Look at that air cleaner. Runs back to the cowl for fresh air. Not something we've seen on a lot of production cars. But that's what's cool. We've seen stuff like that before because we've got to take ourselves back in time to study this stuff. And that's what happened. That's what made it cool. It's like you saw weird little things like that sometimes that we didn't really see a lot on production, but they were doing it in tests. The next shot, the Chevrolet Impala SS was equipped with a 427 4-speed. The combination was capable of effortless 120 mile per hour cruise and quarter miles of just over 15 seconds. That's right, Tony. Just like the 63 Impala 409, that's true. They did use that setup like that as well. There's the 427 Impala, which we're going to get into a little bit more because they've got some more in-depth detail on the Impala in this issue. But when we flip the next page, we're talking about the Chevelle. The Chevelle SS shows the hood-mounted dummy intercooler scoops that are a part of the Chevrolet supercar packages for 67. Medallion on the grill indicates the optional 4-barrel carbureted 396 has been installed under hood. This package performance is out of the ordinary. Alex says it's hard to see on a phone. Yeah, it's a small picture. Yeah, if you're on a phone, it would be kind of tough to see. Tack and simulated wood rim steering wheel are parts of the optional SS package that adds both show and go to the Chevelle. Any optional engine in the Chevelle line An optional engine in the Chevelle line is the 396, 325 horse, 10.25 to 1 compression with 410 pounds of torque. Has some cool detail shots of the 67 Chevelle as well. And the last set of pictures from Magic at the Mesa is another Camaro. Medallion reports presence of the 396 cubic inch, 295 brake horsepower V8, but the solid bite of Firestone D70 14s and the super sport suspension components will give this Camaro a sporting feel and security in the corners. Rated at 295 brake horsepower at 4,800 RPM, the top optional engine for the Camaro delivers 380 foot-pounds of torque at 3,200 RPM, sufficient to induce too much wheel spin on injudicious starts. Care results in 15.1 second ETs on the big block Camaro. So a lot of cool pictures, a lot of cool test information. But there was one part of this article that I actually want to get into the actual text part of it. I mean, we can read this whole thing and it would be super cool. But there was one little tidbit that really stood out. When we talk about factory test cars, stuff that never saw the light of day, everybody was doing it. Manufacturers, they were literally testing cars on Woodward Avenue. They would bolt stuff on that afternoon, take them out and race them that night, trying all kinds of different things. And this is one little bit kind of caught my eye. As we're going through, as you read through this article, he's talking about as he's bouncing from car to car, as he's studying, doing road tests, getting data, things like that for the article. So this starts off with, get another car. It's almost noon, almost halfway through his day, this journalist. Get another car. Parked off to one side, there's, what's that? The resemblance to a Camaro was apparent, but the strange magnesium wheels, the treadless tires, and the chassis modifications made vast differences. That's my pet, said Doug Rowe, a Chevrolet development engineer. The pet was no pussycat, but a 427 engine-driven plaything for proving ground personnel. Says we want to keep abreast of what some of our customers are doing, Rowe explained. What these customers are doing, duplicated by Rowe, a Chevrolet development engineer, is installing the 427 with a 4-barrel Holley, high-performance production cam, clutch and brakes, 488 gears, and an addition of headers and open exhaust. Another customer modification to the pet Camaro is a pair of 760-15 Goodyear drag slicks and Goodyear narrower front tires. How does it go? He said he's never had a clock on it, but let's go out and take it through and run her through the quarter. Rowe climbed into the tall standing Camaro and loped it noisily to the starting line for the measured quarter. He blasted off, boggling the second to third shift, but nevertheless recorded a 13.9 second quarter. Smoother gear changes a little bit later, about a 1380. So, number one's back. We are in car life, May of 1967, number one. So, it's crazy to think about. They go out to road test new 67 Chevys. And remember, this is May of 67. The Camaro just came out. The whole Camaro platform just came out. And this isn't something they've been developing the car, but the production car, it literally just came out a handful of months before this. And there's a brand new one that Chevrolet engineers have already swapped out with a 427 and built their own toy drag car out of it, just so they have an idea of what people are starting to do with their new car that has just been released. So I thought that was pretty cool that they actually had a little tidbit. But one thing that kind of was interesting, no pictures of that car. Fairly detailed description, no pictures of that car in the article. I'm guessing that was probably a no-no to actually post a picture of a factory race car that the engineers had been working on. But kind of interesting to read that in the magazine. So I mean, everybody knows what was going on. When you actually read it, it's like, yeah, they really did this stuff. So thought that was kind of cool for sure. As we get past the magic at the Mesa, we get into another Car Life road test. These Car Life road tests are great because they do give us some specifications on them. And this article on this Car Life road test is strictly on the 67 Impala 427. Now, I really love some of the stuff that they did on these cars, including the hoods on these big block full-size cars. And they've got a great overhead shot of it. That's right, Tim. Too bad there's no pics on that Camaro, because that would be kind of cool. But the cool overhead shot on the 427 Impala shows that super cool big block hood that they had, I believe, just for 67. 68 had a variation of it, but this hood was 67 only, big block, big car only. So thought that was a great shot. And since this is specifically a road test on the 427 Impala, it does give us several more great pictures as well as some specifications. These are great looking cars. They really are. We'll go ahead and hold this up because there are just some awesome shots of this two-door hardtop fastback roof design 427 Impala. We see this thing has the SS badging. It has the big block hood. It has rally wheels. And this is an absolutely amazing car. I'm assuming it's probably the cover car where we actually had it in color. Of course, we don't know if it's green or teal or blue or really from that. But great cars. I think these are awesome. Even look, it even has rear bumper guards and front bumper guards. Talk about a luxury cruiser. I think these big cars, these big performance cars, have always been overlooked. That's why I've always been a fan of the Pontiac 2+2. I think these cars were always overlooked, overshadowed by their intermediate-based cousins, and always been a fan of cars like this. Some more cool shots here. Plus, we've got specifications. This was specifically a road test on the 67 Impala. We've got the bucket seat interior, the rally dash, and, of course, a good shot of that awesome 427 sitting under the hood of this 67 Impala. Now, since this was a road test, we do have the specification box down here that we'll check out a little bit on the Impala. Alec, do you collect these magazines, or would you consider auctioning off the previous week's issue every week? Not really, because I mean I've collected these magazines for years, and I don't have a lot of duplicates. But and we've had some guys ask about that before. If I can find some duplicate stuff, Alec, I'm sure I am absolutely open to that. But I like a lot of this stuff. I like having it around for my own reference, and it's cool. I never in a million years realized that we'd be sitting here on Sunday night on a computer checking them out. When I started gathering these things up when I was a kid. I mean, it's great. It's super cool that we do it. I never in a gajillion years ever even slightly imagined doing something like this. But I'm glad we do it. It's a lot of fun. But I see your point, Alec. If we can find some extra, maybe we can start doing some of that. So Tony says those 427 Impalas were animals on the street. Let's get into a little bit of the specifications on the 427 Impala on this particular car that they did the road test. List price, $3,003, equipped as tested, $4,903. Options include the SS427 package, emissions controls, power steering and brakes, AM/FM stereo radio with stereo tape player, air conditioning, appearance groups, limited slip differential, turbo hydromatic transmission, and special instrument package. Obviously, the engine was a 427 cubic inch, 10.251 compression ratio, with 385 brake horsepower, 460 pounds of torque. Like we just mentioned, this was an automatic equipped car. I like this car more and more the more we talk about it. Ken Nolan still have the mini truck and magazines from his youth. Yeah. Big job. My buddy has a 67 convertible tub, just waiting for him to finish it. But performance data, top speed 125 miles an hour, acceleration standing quarter mile 15.75. Not very quick. But they had no tires either, so I'm sure that didn't help matters any. But still, excuse me. Like I said, if I haven't mentioned it, it's been a long week, and I'm pretty beat. But super cool road test on the 427 Impala. No, Jeff, I do not think I've got a promo of the 67 SS427. I think they did do it, but I don't have one. But if Bill's on, he can tell us for sure if they did. Alec, just stuff I used to go through back in the late 70s and 80s. Not really seen it until start hanging out with us. Brings back good times. Appreciate that, Alec, and that's why we do it. That's the whole point. Going back in time with 20/20 hindsight and looking at what did happen or maybe didn't happen that they were shooting for. Scott's got a lot of magazines as well. But the next road test in this issue of Car Life, the Pontiac Grand Prix Super Silence with widescreen windshields. The 67 Grand Prix, super cool car. The only year it was offered in a convertible on a Grand Prix. However, this article is based on a hardtop on this Car Life road test on the Grand Prix. Jeff says, yeah, he's seen at least one color, maybe two. Yeah, they're great pieces. Kind of want one now after reading the article. But the 67 Grand Prix, you need much caffeine. No, if I had caffeine right now, then I wouldn't even sleep tonight. And I really, really do need to sleep tonight. So I better stay off the caffeine for tonight. But on the 67 Grand Prix, has a shot of the engine, has a nice interior shot, has a nice actual sketch. I don't know why they had a sketch of the car. They had the car, so I don't know why they went with a sketch instead of pictures on it. As well as a few more pictures on the last page of smaller pictures, a few exterior shots, and a couple of trunk shots, or a trunk shot on the 67 Grand Prix. But since this is a road test, we have specifications on the 67 Grand Prix. Tony says they made a 1/25 scale model of the Impala as well. But we've got our specifications chart on the 67 Grand Prix, so let's check that out. Brian Dispatch loves that car. The 67 Grand Prix, let's check the price. Obviously, we just looked at a 427 loaded up Impala with a base price of $3,003. and a out-the-door price with the SS427 package and option at $4,900. The base price on the 67 Grand Prix was $3,549. Equipped as tested, $4,848, $4,848. So kind of the same price range as the 427 Impala and kind of the same group of car, a luxury performance full-size car. So that's to be understood. You know, they're within $60 of each other or whatever, but they're both a very similar type car. Options include exhaust emissions control device, air conditioning, power steering, brakes and windows, automatic transmission, radio, cornering lights, tinted windshield, white sidewall tires, roof rail and reading lamps, and heavy-duty air cleaner. This would have been powered by a 400 Pontiac. And in 67, they did have one of the best breathing heads they ever used. The 670 casting they used in 67, a small chamber, or basically a closed chamber, big valve head, which gave this 67 Grand Prix 10.5 to 1 compression because of that 670 head. 350 brake horsepower, 440 pounds of torque, a little bit behind the 427 Impala. As we've talked about, this was an automatic transmission, obviously not near as quick, standing quarter mile in 17.1 versus the 15.75 that we saw out of the 67 Impala with the 427 in it. Big job. You aren't going to sleep tonight. You're going to pass out. Yeah, that's probably a little closer to the truth. Tony said he think it was an AMT kit that made that. I think you're right, actually. Ken Nolan used to have a book that had the sketches of the front end of all cars from the 60s. Always liked the AMX Javelin front end. Didn't see one in person until years later. Brian Dispatch in Canada, it's a Grand Parisienne. Yeah, I do keep rubbing my eyes. It's been a long week, but it was successful. I hope after we pay all the bills that there's some money left. So anyway, there are some of the specifics on the 67 Grand Prix for the Car Life road test on the new Grand Prix at that point. Let's catch some ads. And this we can get to giving that thing away and announce the new raffle and talk about what I bought this week. Ads in the May 1967 issue of Car Life. And there again, they are great. They are outstanding. So, Alex, standard or posi rear end on the Grand Prix? It did not list a posi rear end and the option list, so I'm guessing it was probably an open rear on the 67 Grand Prix. This one is what, and I would guess so probably because it was a 400. It was not equipped with a 428. This was more of a luxury car, so I'm betting it was an open rear end on that one, Alec. Brian Dispatch said the Canadian car was a little bit shorter as well. But when we get to the magazines, or to the ads in this magazine, they're great. I mean, there's just so much cool stuff in here. Starting right on the inside cover, we brag right out on the grill. But shucks, ain't nothing any red-blooded American car wouldn't do if it had a set of specs like ours. Take a look. The Turbojet 396 V8 is standard with 325 horsepower. So are the stick shift fat red stripes on 14x6 rims and special handling package of oversized stabilizer bar and special springs and shocks. The SS396 looks special too, with a louvered style hood and black rear body panel. Oh, and there are SS396 emblems, including the big one in the center of that big black grill. From there on, it's just you and the catalog, with choices like a 350 horsepower version of the 396, front disc brakes, super lift shocks, 4-speed stick shift, or the 3-speed turbo hydromatic console, and lots more. Take your pick on the 67 Chevelle. Even use color on that one, probably since it's the inside cover. Next ad is Autolite plugs, but it's a pretty catchy Autolite plug ad. When Ford built this $100,000 GT, they weren't about to scrimp on the spark plug, so they got Autolite plugs at about $1 a piece. Disc brakes in 67, yes, Tim, they were available in 67. They came out standard on the 65 Corvette as far as Chevrolet was concerned. 65 Corvette was the first Chevy that used disc brakes, so yes, they were available in 67. Awesome shot of the Ford GT, obviously seven-figure cars in today's world, but pretty amazing ad with the $100,000 Ford GT, so. Brian says 14-inch rims were a mistake. All should have had 15s, and they may have by production, but this, you got to remember, we're in May of 67. This ad was probably written right at the beginning of production, so that could have been a typo, or it could have just changed it. The next ad is really kind of cool. Something you don't see very often with a full, it's black and white, but it's a full-page ad. I was probably getting a little thirsty. Two-wheel discs were available at the same time as four-wheel drum. That's right, X-Ray. They were just front-wheel discs available at that time. That's right, Big Job. Everyone was skeptical about disc brakes back in the 60s, and we read an article on that several months ago. We covered that in one of the magazines where they had a big, huge article debating drum brakes over disc brakes, and they were more keen on the drum brakes than they were the disc brakes in the early 60s. So, yeah, it was a pretty big deal. But this next ad, something you don't typically see a full-page ad on. In fact, we've seen very few of them, even though we've done a lot of magazines from the late 60s. The fact that everybody looks at you is the last reason on earth for buying a Shelby GT, unless you love to be looked at. Yes, an actual ad from Shelby. Among the reasons you'll want to buy a GT350 or a GT500 is zesty performance, crisp, responsive handling, ultimate stopping power, reassuring safety, tasteful comfort. There are extra margins of each, as befits a road car designed by the world manufacturer champion sports car builder. The head-turning looks are a fringe benefit. See your Shelby dealer. You'll look twice at the price. Just $39.95 for the GT350, only $200 more for a GT500. $39.95 got you a brand new Shelby GT350 in 1967. Manufacturer suggested retail price, options, accessories, delivery, prep, and state and local taxes additional. Black and white, but a cool ad of a 67 Shelby at the pier, looking in styling. Like Tony says, that was also an animal on the street. Yeah, we don't see a lot of full-page Shelby ads. We see a lot of product ads for Shelby in a lot of these magazines, but very few full-page ads for a Shelby automobile. The next ad we're going to look at, we're going to look at this other ad. I didn't have it written down. We're going to look at it anyway because it's funky. Who remembers the goofy-looking Citrons? Yeah, we got to look at that. Citron had an ad, full-page ad in this issue as well. I actually didn't jot that down in my notes. I was like, it's too funky. We can't just skip it. X-Ray, and that was in the neighborhood of a Lincoln or Cadillac price-wise, so. The next ad that we're going to look at is kind of a little bit different. It's a 2-page ad that was at the time. Yeah, it does kind of look like Catfish, says Ozark. The fact that this is 2-page is really kind of a statement, for what advertising costs. An ignition that fires plugged plugs, Delco Remy. 2-page ad for Delco Remy's new Delcotronic CD ignition system. That's because this capacitor discharge system can deliver a 30,000-volt wallop instantaneously to fire plugged plugs with ease and to keep them firing several times longer without attention. You never have to adjust or replace contact points either because there are no contact points. The Delcotronic CD ignition system is the first really new ignition system in 40 years. It's the one that comes with the bright red alkyd distributor cap and ignition coil. You can get it on 1967 Pontiacs and Oldsmobiles. Be sure to ask for it. Yes, the predecessor, the beginning of what we now know as electronic ignition on the Delcotronic system 467. 2-page, big statement, big bold ad. Big Job had a chance to buy a Shelby in 79 and didn't do it. Tim remembers a couple people that had Citrons. The difference between the GT350 and GT500, I think the GT500 you could get a big block in. Yeah, that's what X-Ray Dean says. I'll call Jim and find out. Jim will tell us like that. Jim will tell us all the differences between a GT350 and a GT500. But there again, totally new technology, totally weird. Like a lot of people like disc brakes. I don't know if I want that stuff on my car. How much used to take the fire and plug? Apparently 30,000 volts is what it says in here. So. And we flip to the next page. We see another Shelby ad, kind of typical to what we've seen in the past. Although geared a little bit differently, more towards the Mustang. Make your Mustang feel its oats. Go ahead, put some enthusiasm back in the old horse with performance equipment designed exclusively for Fords by Ford experts. Proven on the racing GT350, Coney shocks will give you the ride and control you demand. Fully adjustable, they will last 70,000 miles under normal driving conditions. Front or rear, $25 a piece. Give your Ford your 260 or 289 the winner's image with a Cobra dress-up kit. Kit includes die-cast aluminum valve covers, chrome dipstick, oil breather caps, radiator cap, brake fluid reservoir cap, and a 14-inch diameter tuned air cleaner. Imported wood-rimmed wheel with shallow dish adds true GT flavor to your car. Increase your comfort and pleasure with the finest quality steering wheel available, complete with horn mechanism. Installs in 5 minutes on all Mustangs except 6-cylinder with generators. So kind of a cool piece here with the Shelby ad for dress-up pieces for your Mustang. Mark, my father was a commercial artist. He did all sorts of ads for cars and products. That's cool. I wonder, do you still have some of his original artwork or anything like that? I'd love to have some original artwork like that. That is awesome stuff, Mark. That's a cool story. You'll have to let us in a little more on some of that. Next ad, Fram Filters. Only a little more pizzazz than this Fram Filters ad when you got Lee and Richard Petty talking about high-performance tuning and the role Fram Filters play. And they did this as a Q&A, question and answer type session. And obviously, we could read through the whole thing and be here forever, but literally has Lee and Richard Petty, and they do a Q&A type thing. You do have some of the stuff, Mark. That'd be awesome. I'd love to see some of it. If you had any pieces you wanted to sell, I would absolutely be interested in adding some of that to my collection. But Q&A session with Lee and Richard Petty about filters and how they affected their race car. There again, you couldn't jump on the computer and do a video and explain anything. They did a Q&A deal, put it out in print, put it in Car Life in 1967. Alan, GT500 is the big motor. My favorite was the 68 GT500 KR with a 428. The next ad we're going to check out, I kind of had to stare at it for a second because I was kind of confused. I saw a KH at the bottom, but there was a couple of Mopars in the ad, and I kind of had to study it for a second. But then it all came into focus, like we just talked about. That'd be cool, Mark, if you get a chance to dig through some of that stuff. Is not the trivia answer Mark is doing show and tell next week. Yeah, that's a good point. Number one. The car on the street, the car on the track, both depend on Kelsey Hayes disc brakes. Yes, a full ad about Kelsey Hayes disc brakes. Mark's not even sure what he's got. Well, that'd be cool. I mean, I would be super interested if you had some original artwork for some of that ads. That'd be awesome. But Kelsey, there again, disc brakes, electronic ignition. There were still a lot of guys back to say, "I ain't gonna put that on my car. I don't want to know that newfangled gadgetry stuff on my car. I don't know what that stuff does." That's literally why this advertising was taking place, for disc brakes, electronic ignition. They were trying to explain to the consumer the benefits of this. Today, completely main place. Everything has it. 4-wheel disc brakes. I mean, obviously our ignition systems are well more advanced, even beyond electronic by now. Awesome, Mark. I super appreciate it. But there again, full page ads or do page ads for this newfangled gadgetry type stuff. People want to sell them from a card type thing. You know, don't want none of that stuff. That's why they had to market it this way. They couldn't show you, do a video and show it to you on your computer. They had to explain it in marketing, that newfangled stuff type stuff, you know. But there again, we're looking back with 2020 hindsight. We know now that by the 70s, everything had disc brakes. Everything had electronic ignition. 67, it was still kind of, I don't want none of that stuff on my car. A few more ads to check out before we start giving some stuff away. That's right, Tim. Now people are lost with carbs, much less points and drum brakes. Big Job says you could have bought that Shelby for $4,200 in 79. But that was a lot of money in 79, though, too. You know, that was almost a new car in 79. You know, not terribly far off a new car. You probably buy a new car for $7,000, $8,000. $4,200 for a 10-year-old used car was a lot of money at that point. The next ad also I kind of had to take a second and study it. It was actually a wax ad, but it had an Indy car on it. But it had Mario Andretti talking about Firestone Jet Wax, the number one choice of the number one driver. When you're out front in the races like Indy, your car's finish takes a terrific beating. And when it's not being raced, it's got to have a show car shine. Mario Andretti solves both of these problems with Firestone Jet Wax, the wax that protects with a silicone shield. With Firestone Jet Wax, the shine stays on, the water repellency lasts, even when the engine temperatures head for the boiling point. It's no strain, no pain to apply Firestone Jet Wax with the easiest wipe-off ever. It removes a year's grime with a single easy shine, leaves a finish that's hard as nails. Go all out for Firestone Jet Wax. So I'm sure they were worried about waxing these Indy cars at every race, but it made for a cool ad. It was probably more exciting than just putting the big can of wax in the middle of the page. So I'm assuming that's why they did it. So for the Firestone Jet Wax. Kenny says I do a good redneck impression of newfangled gadgets. Glad you enjoyed it. Our Tour Fiddler, government required disc brakes starting in 73, but did not require them to be power. So auto companies could still nickel and dime you if you wanted to have a stripper car. Yeah, and I think that the Pinto was disc brake was with were manual disc brakes. So, Randy, reason showing race cars, remember hypo drag cars running mags, no traditional ignitions. Yep, that's true too. Can know my dad missed out on a Dodge Super Bee, but got a 69 RS back in the day. But back in the day, Superbirds, they couldn't give them away. Dad said there was 3 of them still on the lot here in 71 because they couldn't give them away because nobody wanted them. But we're going to catch one more ad to finish up this half of car life for May of 67, and this is a great ad. Big Jump said the car still looked brand new even in 79. Ozark Fox in high school with a big block and 4-wheel drum brakes and no power. Things got a little hairy at times. Things get real hairy at times with a big block and 4-wheel manual drum brakes. But the last ad we're going to check out as we wrap up this first half of the May 67 issue of Car Life, RT Road Track, the newest hot one from Dodge. Now, what's kind of interesting about this is, remember, this is May of 67. Dodge is calling this car a Road Runner, the newest hot one from Dodge. And it says it, Road Runner, but it's not a Road Runner because that's not a Plymouth. But the Road Runner didn't come out till 68, so they actually use that in the text for the new Dodge Coronet RT. It speaks softly but carries a big kick. Dodge Coronet RT, just about the hottest thing going since the cast iron stove. Witness these credentials. A rampaging 440 cubic inch Magnum V8 that deals out 375 brake horsepower with 480 pounds of torque. 4-barrel carb, long duration cam, chrome engine dress up, low restriction dual exhaust, heavy duty brakes and suspension, high performance red streak tires, special air scoop design. With this standard get-up, RT is described by Superstock Magazine as one of the best all-around performance packages being offered, as much or more performance per dollar than any other car currently available. If you wish, you can have the optional Hemi and Attack and Mag-type wheel covers and lower body paint stripe available through your dealer. Check out RT at your nearby Dodge dealer now. And it literally says they're literally calling this Coronet a Road Runner in a Dodge article. Obviously, they couldn't have done that about 6 months later, but there again, we can look back with 20/20 hindsight as to what happened in the industry, sometimes a few months after this, and how things changed. So, Tim's mom had a Roadrunner, but there again, couldn't have used that ad much longer since Plymouth was actually coming out with a Roadrunner. But there again, we're looking back in time. We now know what happened. That's what makes it cool. So that does it for the first half of the May 67 issue of Car Life. If you missed the last couple weeks, the last few magazines we've done, we've been splitting them up so that we can take a little bit deeper dive into some of these articles and do a little more studying on them without going 4 to 4.5 hours a night. So I hope you guys are still liking that. I hope you guys still like the fact that we're getting a little more detail out of the magazines. We just have to take 2 nights to do them without going all night till like Monday morning. So Pete says he loves it. Appreciate it. Mark, I have a guy who lives a few houses away with a factory orange and white with wide racing stripes. Anthony digs it. David W. says mag-type wheel covers. Yeah, it did have. Kendall, my grandma worked at Dodge. Don't think they liked the RT. They only drove Dodge. X-Ray digs the magazine. So anyway, we'll catch the back half of this Car Life next week and see what else other cool stuff is in there. But it's great stuff. So I appreciate your guys' feedback. I hope you guys like getting more detail out of it than what we've been doing and trying to get it all squeezed in there. So still want your feedback. If everybody's cool with that, we'll keep doing it. Or if we want to start knocking out different ones every week, we know. Look at that. What happened right there? What popped up right there? So anyway, I guess it's time to give away an Autolite sign. Who's up for that? Anybody want to give away an Autolite sign? Kenny's on a fridge run. Tim says the 2-week mag review is working great. Thanks, Tim. Appreciate that. I hope everybody feels that way about taking a few more minutes and doing a deeper dive, but not trying to squeeze the whole magazine in, splitting them up. Alec likes it. Perfect, guys. Zach, Wile E. Coyote almost had a Roadrunner. Yeah, a lot of times. So I'm glad you guys are still digging it. I'm glad it's working. Some other guys are agreeing with it. So cool. I mean, that's, to get into it deep before we were going so long, it was taking all night. So how about giving away a pickup truck? The Chiefs just stole mine, says number one. Does that mean the Chiefs won and you were betting against them? I take it is what I'm guessing here. But anyway, on the raffle for the Autolite sign. 3 weeks in a row, I've lost the Sunday night game. Brian says it's keeping him awake. Well, let's see who's all in. We're going to go through, like I keep telling you guys, what I've started doing every week. I get all the raffles for that week. Alex is going to look good in his garage. And we'll go through these week by week. So, starting with the first week, Big Job says just pick him, and then I can go to sleep. So, I got a fly that's going to go to sleep here pretty quick if he don't quit buzzing me. I'm going to go to permanent sleep. But the first week, who was in? Jason Withrow, Charles Fitz, Kenny Peterson, Pete Winters, Alec Blanchett, Zach Thompson, Ron Walensky. Big job. And please remember, a lot of guys are in here several weeks in a row because they just add a little bit to their auction winnings or what every week. So the Chiefs are up 38-24, says Zach. Dennis Chapman is in. Pete Kenny says good luck to everybody who's in. Bill Disk is in. David Woodcocks, Jason Withrow. Norma, Brandon Hott, Randy Weiniger, Jason Withrow, Brian Dispatch, Zach Thompson, Alec Blanchett, Kenny Peterson, Lee Carr. And this is the stuff from the last week or so. Tweedly D, Mark Falcon, Robert McAvoy, Charles Fitz, Tim Page. Yep, we got her, Tim. Zach Thompson, Ron Walensky, big job. Kenny Peterson, and Zach Thompson. So, anyway, if I didn't read your name and you thought you were in for this month, please let me know so that we can figure out what happened to get you in on the next one. Let's see. Number one says, thanks for rubbing the salt in the wound by announcing the score. 38-24 Chiefs are up. I don't know how much time is left in the game, but everyone said good luck to everybody's in. If Norman wins, we'll have to track her down, that's for sure. So, anyway, I guess we're ready to do it. We're going to draw 3 names. I've got 2 more cans right here. And the next 2 winners will have their choice. Once your name is pulled, you're not eligible for the rest of the prizes. If you win the Autolite sign, you are out on the cans. So, that being said, let's do this thing. Let's give it away. It's a big Buick oil can. All those names are in there right now. Oh, I forgot to grab the raffle shirt. Well, we're already here. I just looked over and saw the raffle shirts laying over there. I forgot to grab it. We'll get it next time. Anyway, here we go. I could go get the raffle shirt and make everybody wait, but I don't think anybody wants to wait. Okay, I think I got one. I think I got it narrowed down to 1. I got 1. Pete is our winner. Let me grab my notepad so I can jot this down. I don't want to miss it. So Pete is our Autolite winner. Pete's excited. That's actually a pretty good reason to be excited. So let's give away a few more cans. Congratulations to Pete. Pete is not eligible for the cans. The cans we're going to give away, first one will have choice if you're on an STP. This is dented on the side, but we got one real nice side on the STP, or one of the new cardboard Newell stock Nix vulcanizing cans. This looks pretty good, but it is dented on this side. This is Newell stock. So if the next name we pull is on, you've got your choice of those 2 cans. So let's do the next one. Pete is super pumped. Says thanks to everybody for the congratulations. Even Alec on Facebook got you covered, Pete. All right. Let's see what we got next. I think we got her narrowed down to 1. I got 1. Brian Dispatch. So which can do you want, Brian? STP or the Newell stock vulcanizing can? So we'll give Brian a second to respond. I assume he's still on with us for tonight. Not sure. Well, hold them up for you one more time. STP or the vulcanizing? STP is metal, but dented. This is cardboard Newell stock. Alex says, congrats, Brian. Everybody says, congrats, Brian, on Facebook or on YouTube as well. Brian says STP. Okay. I'll put that in your stack for you. Put in your Buick. And now let's give away the Newell stock vulcanizing can. One more to go. Pete and Brian are both out. As we dig deep into the big Buick oil can one more time, we got a whole handful of names. Let's shake them around a little bit and try to come up with, get narrowed down to one. And we're just about there. I think I got it. There's still a couple of them in my hand. I don't want to have to choose. I just want to get one. And I got one. Brandon Hott. Brandon Hott on the vulcanizing can. All right. Awesome. Thanks for playing, everybody. These are a lot of fun. I hope you guys are enjoying them. And actually, that being said, we need to empty out the Buick can. All those names in there need to be out for next week. So let's just do it. Perfect. There we go. We're ready for next week. So, congratulations to everybody, and thanks for playing. Now, everybody wants to know what's up next. How about another sign? Everybody likes little signs, right? I really don't see anybody on here at all that's ever complained about winning these cool little signs. So, yeah, time for a fresh start. Going to do another little sign. On a cool little battery rack sign on a Delco. These are neat little pieces. This is one I picked up at the Springfield swap meet. I've got one of these. I had a chance to buy another one, so I thought perfect raffle piece. I figured you guys would dig them. These actually went on the side of like a battery rack. This is almost 16 inches long. And it is a little under 8 wide. So far, I haven't seen too many complaints about this for a raffle prize. This is single-sided, obviously. It is painted tin. Has a little bit of chipping down here at the bottom. Yellow, white, blue lettering on the Delco battery rack sign. So, like I said, these weren't big because these would have like sat in a service department. The rack of batteries that they had there for customers. This was mounted to the side of it, so it didn't need to be huge or sat in the parts department type thing. So that's what we'll give away for this month. Seems like everybody's pretty cool with it. I don't think we've ever gave away a sign that anybody really complained about too much. So that's what we'll do for October. So glad you guys dig it. We'll get this one down for Pete. We'll put this one up in its place. Zach's already in. Zach's like, I'm glad I already bought in. So it was worth, didn't even know what it was, but now he's glad he bought in. So that's what we'll do. Cool little piece. Like I said, not a huge sign, but a great piece that is going to be an awesome addition to any collection. So we'll get that hung up next week. We'll swap out the Autolite sign and go from there. Alex says, where's the AC part of it? These didn't say AC. These just said Delco. They just mounted to the side of the rack, and they just said Delco. I've actually got one right up there on my wall. You can't see it, but right there, I've got one of these that's mine. So Pete says he likes the smaller signs. Date for the raffle. When are we going to give this thing away? That's a great question. Let's figure it out. Well, the 30th is a Sunday night. So, what do we got in December to deal with? I guess we'll give it away on the 30th. So, I guess that's what we'll do. We'll do October 30th on the Delco sign for this month. So, yep, October 30th, Alec. That's when we'll give that one away. In fact, I just want to mark it on my calendar so I don't forget. That way, when you ask me next week, I can look right up at the calendar right here and I'll know which one it is. I'll know what to tell you. Okay. So that's taken care of. We've given that one away. We've announced the new one. What else is going on? I bought a few more things this week. And what do we got coming up for videos? So Kenny's already in. Big Job says those Autolite signs are bringing pretty decent money on eBay. Yeah, they're cool pieces. But new inventory. I did buy one of the rough pickups out of the project row we had at the auction, 90 Chevy crew cab, and I bought a Beach 18. So we'll have some videos coming up on that stuff once I get it drug in and get some more cool information on that stuff as well. Tim, we'll have to put in a little earlier this time. I'm nervous I'd miss out for this month with a crazy schedule. Well, I'm glad you're in, and everybody was in. Ozark Falk wants to buy the calendar. Then I want to have a calendar. I got to go find a new calendar. So I'll get that stuff drug in. We'll do some more content on that. What else do I have coming up for content this week? I've got some salvage yard videos I shot while I was out on the road a couple of weeks ago, and so we'll probably start feeding a little bit of that. Is that a lake that your yard is next to? No, I'm not anywhere near a lake. There's a creek that's about a half to 3/4 of a mile away from me, but there's no lake. Pete, do you have a calendar? No, that's something I've been wanting to do for years, is do a calendar. I've just never done it, and it's now October, and it's probably too late to do it. X-Ray Dean says Delco sign is from the 50s. No, that's something I've always wanted to do. We've checked into it a couple times. Shayla's checked into it. And we've just never done it. It's fairly expensive to do a small run of a couple hundred. So we've just never done it. But I probably should and just kind of sell them, for what it would cost to do them. But big body of water in one of the videos. Not at my place. There's a guy that lives on one side of it, and then there's a field on the other side of it. So, nope, I'm nowhere near an actual lake. So, just like I said, there's a creek that runs about half to 3/4 mile away, and that's why we get a lot of wildlife through the yard at night. I've seen a lot of cool stuff on my cameras, big, huge buck deer, bobcats, things like that. I've had a lot of cool pictures on my cameras from from a lot of the wildlife, because we're, a little, not terribly far off that creek, but Mark's in for a calendar. Ken knows that he's seeing stuff. Yep. Big Job says boneyard calendars are popular. Kenny, that'd be cool. And nobody's calendar. Yeah, like I said, and now it's getting kind of late. I don't even know if we could get a run of them done. I ought to check into it. It's just one of those things that just slips through the cracks when you get busy. So, and I'm not out of stuff to do by any means. So, anyway, that's what I've got for tonight. Like I told you guys earlier, I apologize. I know I was off tonight, and and I didn't have everything as prepared as I should have because of the way this last week has gone, but that does happen from time to time. So I apologize for me being off and not having as quality of an episode as I would have liked to have had ready tonight, but we made it through. We had a good time. Pete, you get a talented photographer who knows how to do lighting. It'd be awesome. Yep, that's true. But we made it through. We had a good time. I still don't think it was as quality as I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. But I didn't think I definitely wasn't as prepared as I should have been by any means because I just flat ran out of time. Tim, I still find it hard to believe Chad has time to sleep. Well, I squeeze it in a little bit. Like I said, I usually try to be asleep by 11 or 11:30. Alarm goes off 5:45. Back at the shop by 7. Try to be home around 10-ish, except Sunday night. I try to be home around 10-ish so that I can get a shower and be in bed by 11 and then read a little bit to get my brain unwrapped, from the day. So sometimes I'll read 2 pages, sometimes I'll read 10 pages, just as long as whatever it takes to get my brain unwrapped. And then I can go to sleep. Then I can crash out. So Alex says, great show. I'm glad you guys, a lot of you guys are still saying it's a great show. And that's good because I'm off. I'm tired. Scott says it was good. Thanks guys. I appreciate that. Kenny said it was good. Ken Knowles says, what do I like to read? Right now, I'm actually reading a book on Martin Bormann's escape to South America. Not that any of you probably know what that is, but everybody remember the show Hunting Hitler, where they were trying to chase all of the Nazis down in South America. I think it was on History Channel a few years ago. They were going through all these documents that had been recently declassified, talking about Nazis that went to South America. I don't know if anybody remembers any of that or not. Not to be completely off topic here, but like Candle says, what do you like to read? I'm literally reading this book about Martin Bormann and the escape to South America. And in case, I don't know if anybody saw any of that Hunting Hitler show from a few years back. Mark says it was on History Channel. Jay says, yeah, he knows. What I found out, and this is kind of interesting, Hitler never did make it to South America. Hitler did die in the bunker. However, Martin Bormann, as well as many other powerful Nazis, did. And they made a big show out of that. And this book that I'm reading, which was written in the early 70s, actually documented the date down to the day that Martin Bormann, who was the Reichsleiter, which was Hitler's personal secretary, kind of Secretary of State type person, they knew down to the day when he got to South America. So there wasn't a lot of mystery, I don't think. I think a lot of that was made for TV. If I'm reading a book that was written in the early 70s, and they have it documented down to the day that Martin Bormann got into South America under Perón's guidance, that maybe some of that was made for TV of this, hunting type thing. Dennis liked it. Tim remembers some of it. Zach says his car is in a movie kind of based off that. That's cool. So it's kind of interesting. You're looking back now after watching the show. And that was another thing, Mark, about the Nazi treasures. And there was a ton of Nazi treasure of looted Nazi treasure that had been shipped to South America. And, that's kind of where I'm at in the book. A vast majority of that was seized by the South American governments, whatever country they happen to be stashing it in. So, they kind of did an about face on them. And so when some of those powerful Nazis got to South America, they got some of it, but the bulk of it sounds like, was kept by Perón and some of those other South American governments. So I have a very wide variety. Back to the topic of what do I read? I do read a lot of World War II stuff. I love aviation books. Read a lot of World War II aviation. I read some, I read a lot of biographies. Fascinated with biographies, just like when I read the book on, drawing a blank on that last one, and it wasn't that good of a biography, but I'll have to do some looking. But I got a lot of cool ones that I do like to read. That and it's all because I like to learn. I want to read stuff that is facts that is very that I get something out of. So Candle said you can see that Condor's Nest is the movie. It's not officially released yet. We'll have to keep an eye out for that, Zach. So, but the book that I read on Hedy Lamarr, I'm fascinated with Hedy Lamarr. And the book that I got, I was excited when I found it, but it was more of a story than about facts. So I was a little bit disappointed. That's right. My Addie got me the Mel Brooks book for Christmas. Outstanding Mel Brooks biography. If you like Mel Brooks and you do not have his biography, you need to have the Mel Brooks biography. It is epic. We've talked about it on here before. Epic. Did I mention it's an epic book? You got to have the Mel Brooks biography. It's hilarious. But the Hedy Lamarr book, fascinating story. However, to not get into the details, if any of you have ever heard of Hedy Lamarr, Hollywood starlet in the 30s, she started acting in Europe. Actually was married to an arms dealer that dealt with Hitler in the 30s as he was building up his arsenal. Literally had dinner with Goering and Hitler as a young lady in her 20s, literally sitting at a table as her husband works out negotiated arms deals with them. Escaped, ended up in Hollywood as a actress, became a Hollywood starlet, and is actually the reason that we have Bluetooth and a lot of the technology that we have today, believe it or not. She helped develop some of those systems back in the late 30s, early 40s that enables us to have Bluetooth, and a lot of the things that we utilize today with our phones and technology came from technology developed in part by Hedy Lamarr. That type of stuff I love because I learned stuff from it. So that's right, Jason. Headley, not Headley. So that's when I get into stuff like that. But I always want to learn something. But, the Mel Brooks biography is epic. I got a book. I just bought a new book that after I finished the Martin Bormann book about the breaking the sound barrier with the Bell X1. Just all kinds of stuff like that. But I just like to learn. It's knowledge. It's more information. It's more that I can learn, whatever it is. So anyway, but the Mel Brooks biography is epic. Addie got that for me for Christmas. I have read it. It is awesome. It is amazing. It is hilarious. Of course, Mel Brooks is hilarious. And I know we've talked about it before, but just like when he did Blazing Saddles and the studio just chastised him and just said, you got to take this out. You got to take this out. You got to take this out. You got to take this out, which actually by that point, there's no movie left, as we all know. But he sat there. It says in the book, I'm going to give you this one spoiler alert, but there's so much more. So he grabs a notepad. He writes all this stuff down. And he's making notes. He's making notes like he's all serious about the studio executive that's chewing him out for all this stuff. And then the guy walks off. He rips off the notepad, crumples it up, throws it in the trash, changes absolutely nothing. And that's when he said, which began the next step in my career as a movie producer, lying to the studios, telling them I'm going to give them what they want and doing exactly what I please instead of what I tell them I'm going to do. So, but like I said, so much great stuff. Mongol like candy. That's right, Jason. Tweety Bluetooth name came from Vikings leader Bluetooth. I did not know that. Excuse me while I whip this out. That's right. If we get on Blazing Saddles, we're going to be here for the next 6 hours. Can Nolan agree? Gathering knowledge and retaining it and passing is always good. And that's why I like to read different stuff. But like I said, biographies, history, all that type of stuff. The sheriff is near. That's right. I think that, and like we've talked about before, and I've seen the meme on it where they have edited Blazing Saddles to make it completely politically correct. And the new edition of Blazing Saddles will now air from 8 o'clock to 8:07 tonight, because that's all that's left of the movie after it's been made politically correct. But that's why it's so awesome. So Mark saw those when they still came out. He's still laughing. That's right. That's Tim. That's what I read, a variety of history. I really do like to read a variety of history. I like to learn different things. And like I said, it's just whatever catches, but just like the book on the Bell X1. When we were at Maple Brothers, we went to Barnes & Noble, and I seen it. And I was like, man, that looks really cool. So I bought it. It's next on the list after I finish the Martin Bormann book. But the Martin Bormann book's 500 pages, so I still got a little ways to boogie on that. But that's right. They want to take out the campfire scene. Candle and look up the most decorated Canadian from World War II. That I do not know off the top of my head, but sounds interesting. Tweedledee saw Blazing Saddles in the drive-in when it came out. So anyway, I guess we better get ready to wind this thing up. Like I said, even though it wasn't as prepared as it should have been, we got through it. You guys seem to have enjoyed it. We've got some awesome prizes that we gave out tonight. I appreciate everybody's participation in the raffles. I appreciate everybody's participation in the auctions. Glad to be able to move some of my extra stuff onto your collections, and it helps support the time and effort I put into this. I'm glad you guys enjoy it. I work hard to do a good job for you, and the fact that you guys are here making this what it is, and your participation really makes this what it is, which is a chat, not me sitting here. I'm just the lucky one that gets to sit in front of the camera, but your guys' chat is what makes this thing jive and what it is. So anyway, Tim leans toward railroad history. That sounds very interesting as well. So much cool stuff there. Yeah, I think I will, Kenny. I think I'm going to get some rest. The problem is now I'm usually so wired after I come off of this that it takes a little while to kind of ratchet back down after we get off of the live. But I do appreciate everybody being here. I do appreciate everybody bearing with me tonight in my current condition. We'll throw up a few more badges for you guys to enjoy the evening with. Brian Dispatch says, give it one more like button. Appreciate that. I'm going to wrap it up. I'm going to figure some stuff out for this week. We'll do some Toy Tuesday live Tuesday night. We'll get up some of those other salvage yard videos I got while I was out on the road that is not my stuff. We'll get some more stuff from the yard. I got some more new inventory to drag in. And we'll see what we can do. So nobody caught the new inventory, obviously. So nobody caught me on when we brought that up. So we'll see what happens on that. It's going to be some cool videos, though. This fly's fixing to go to sleep permanently here. Yeah, I am sober, Zach. That's true. Ooh, dead fly. Got him. Took care of that one. Sleeper passed out. Yeah, kind of the same thing. Let's see. We'll get at least one of those salvage yard videos up. I got some new content I need to get shot for at the yard for you guys. Toy Tuesday, we've got some super cool toys to check out that we haven't done yet. Got a few more boxes of oil cans at the F&E this weekend. Some stuff that was brought in. Picked up a few cases of cans. So we'll get some of that stuff drug around. And going to go out and tear it down tomorrow, get the podium and everything moved back into storage. Kind of get regrouped. That's right, X-Ray D, and the fly is dead. And hopefully by the middle of the week, I'll be back on an even keel. I got a couple of Hemis to pull this week. I got a couple of Hemis I got to get out, get ready to ship to a guy. So my work's stacking up. More cars to pick up that I bought last week that need to get hauled in. Not sure I'm going to move that one, but we're going to get her figured out. I actually really don't know how we're going to move that one, but we'll get it figured out. So anyway, good night to everybody. I appreciate you being here. A couple of more badges for the road. And we're going to sign off. See you Tuesday night. We will see, definitely see you Tuesday night. Hope to see you back here 7 o'clock next Sunday night for Sunday Night Live Chat. I will try to be a little bit more prepared next week. That's right, Tim. The flies are moving indoors. They are turning into a huge pain in the butt. One will not be turning into a pain in my butt here for a while now that he's dead. So got that one taken care of. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for being here. Thanks for all your support. Appreciate what you guys do to make this thing tick. We'll see some of you. We'll see you Tuesday night. Hopefully, we'll see all of you Tuesday night for some Toy Tuesday. We'll get some more content put out. Like I said, if you guys have some questions on some address, questions on payment, just give me a call tomorrow. We'll get it all figured out, and we'll get some more of this stuff shipped out. Thanks for watching, everybody. Super appreciate you being here. We will see you Tuesday night, and if nothing else, we will definitely see you next Sunday night back here, same bat time, same bat station, Sunday night live chat. Thanks for watching, everybody. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.